Good morning, welcome to Sewing Quarter. It's Valentine's Day. Have I sprouted ears? No, I haven't. What we have for you this morning, we've got such a lovely day for you this morning. Do you want to see what we're starting off with? First off, behind my ears, is your teddy bear quilt with Victoria Peat, and they were my ears. And then at 9 o'clock we've got a quilting fairground fun. Oh yes, come on that ride with us with Lucy Brennan. And then at 10 a.m. a chic little patchwork pouffe with Victoria Peat. And then at 11 a.m. we're in love with Tilda, always with Lucy Brennan. Brand new book there. Do you want to see? Look at, I love this. I don't know who put the table in, but it's, producer Paul, me, it was my idea, me. Look, this is our teddy bear. Isn't he absolutely gorgeous? We're loving him an awful lot. In fact, I requested that we did him, so I'm really loving it. So that's our first project today with Victoria. Love it. Victoria's second project is, now you might have seen this in one of our magazines. I think this is probably one of my favourite makes ever, because it's got some of my favourite fabrics in as well. I absolutely adore this. You might not get it back. And then, of course, my cup runneth over with a lovely bit of reverse appliqued Tilda of our brand new Tilda book. Yes, brand new Tilda. Look at Lucy, she's been working hard on that. Well, look, what a lovely start to the show. All of those. Yeah. Now, the concept of the teddy bear, a little while ago, I think it was the 24th of January, Victoria and I did a show with some beautiful hearts. We did this. We did this. Little set rearrange for you there. We did this, which was very lovely, and it's out of the 2-from-1 Jelly Roll Quilts book by Pam and Nicky Lintott. And the other side of it was the teddy bear, which is why we've got the teddy bear today. So we're going with the love, we've got the teddy bear, and oh look, hang on, whilst I'm moving this out of the way, I may as well tell you what this all is. We have a special offer for new people today joining us, new buyers. So if you've just joined us and today is the day you place your first ever order, if you place an order over £20, not only are you going to get the cutting mat for free, but then you're also going to get a fat quarter pack, 8 of them in there, also for free. You just need to use the code SQLOVE. Fabulous. Love it. Now, here we go. This is the book that started it all off. Pam and Nicky Lintott, a lovely mother-daughter combo, very experienced quilters, and they just are bringing a fresh new take to gorgeous quilts. And what they want, the concept of this book is, if you have a jelly roll, then there will be 2 different quilts that you can make using them. So there's not, we got a bit confused. We thought it was like the front and the back of the quilt. It can be, if you adjust the sizes a bit, but basically it's you can do 2 quilts from 1. So, which is just a beautiful concept and just absolutely lovely. So for each design, you get those. Now, at the back here, right at the back, where's my teddy bear? He's right at the back. He is 94. He's aging well, isn't he? 94 is the teddy bear, and I just adore him. There we go. Now, last time we had this book, it sold out. So there are the hearts that we did, and then with whatever you have left over, you can do the bears. But what we've done is give you, instead of a jelly roll, you can cut your own jelly rolls, and that's also explained in the book as well, that concept. And so when I saw the teddy bear, I was like, I know the fat quarter bundle that we have to use. Now, the one that, oh, it's gone over there. The one that Victoria's used and that we've just seen is this bundle here. Now, I love this antique feel that this bundle gives us. It's incredibly beautiful. There's soft pinks and sort of reds in there. It's got a sort of antique, shabby chic feel to it, and it just is stunning. So these are all of the fat quarters that you've got in here for you to mix and match. You've got florals, you've got stripes, you've got spots, so a bit of chintz and a bit of stripe and a bit of spot. All these gorgeous colourways, all in there, and then you're also getting 1 metre of your fabric as well, and the fat quarter pack, and you're also getting the and is and thread. And thread. And that's 12 fat quarters in there. Yes, yes, yes. Now that is one colourway. So that is to make this. Yay! I love it. Absolutely love it. Oh, do you know what? No, I told you. This is the one that Victoria made, that one. No, that's the one that Victoria's demoing with.
Yeah, I'm going to demo with the pink, and I've made with
This is the one you've made with. That's the one we're demoing with today. We'll get it around the right way in a minute. So this one, you've got your browns and your greens. But again, this lovely romantic shabby chic. And again, 12 fat quarters in here. You're not going to use all of those fat quarters for that teddy bear. And so then you've got lots of other things that you can play and make with. They just are exquisite. Plus, of course, your meter of fabric and your thread. It is all good to go. There's the kit. Yay! Now, some of you might be wanting to make the hearts that we made last time, which, there. In which case, we've got, I'll show you some blocks made from this, but this was one of the blocks that we had, bundles rather, that we had last time we did this. And because it's called Loving Hearts, it felt appropriate to bring this one back today. So here they all are. 44.49 for a whopping 5 meters of fabric in there. Yes, please. And you've got all sorts of different fabrics in there, including some art gallery fabrics and all sorts in there. So you've got the full caboodle there. A lot of you went for this when we brought this first time, but as it's Valentine's Day, it feels right. So that's 44.49. Fabulous. Right. Victoria, let's get cracking. Good morning, by the way. Happy Valentine's and all that.
Happy Valentine's. Where are my flowers? Flowers, chocolates?
Yeah. I'm waiting for mine too. They're arriving imminently.
I can live without the flowers. Chocolates. Send chocolates. Chocolates. Lots of
Send chocolates immediately to get us through the morning.
If not, I'll stop at the garage on the way home.
Yay!
An excuse.
Now, is this easy?
Yes, this one is quite simple. It's a lot of repeated processes.
Okay.
So you cut your 2.5-inch strips and then you subcut those according to the pattern. It tells you how to subcut into squares and rectangles.
Right.
And then it's a case of just piecing them together. And like I say, there's quite a few repeated processes, so it's quite simple to do.
Let's just
bring him over.
Let's just have a moment of love for the teddy bear here. I absolutely adore him.
He's sweet, isn't he? The pattern itself will create a quilt that's 4 times the size of this. So I've just done one. So you could use this as a small play mat or a changing mat or something, because I like to quite like to take something like this with me when I'm out and about with small children, because then they've got somewhere to sit.
Yeah.
Floors aren't always that clean. But the pattern itself creates one that's 4 times that size.
Beautiful.
So it's a good, decent size.
Yeah, well, that would be a large play mat, wouldn't it? Or baby-size quilt. Or I think he's just gorgeous. So if you are a teddy bear fan, in any way, shape or form, or if you know someone that maybe is expecting a little one or has a little one.
Yeah, make a lovely baby gift.
Wouldn't it?
Really nice.
Just beautiful. Then maybe you can make a teddy bear to go with it. Right, so
I used the ones with the green and brown to make up the sample, and for the demo I'm using the ones with the pinks and neutrals in it. And I've selected, if you look at the bear, he's sort of got his ears and his muzzle and his tummy are one colour, and then you've got his outside of the face is a different colour, and then the rest of him is his clothing, so his arms and legs. So I've chosen for his face, I've chosen the spot on, well, a spot. It's not a Macawa spot on, is it? But it's a spot, and the yellow for his ears and face, and then his clothes. I've picked out a variety of the pinks.
Yes.
To make his clothes.
She's looking. I think maybe this one's maybe a girl.
Maybe a girly bear.
Maybe a girly bear.
Girly bear.
I just think it's a beautiful, beautiful fabric collection, and also just a lovely design. So, where do we go from here?
So it comes with instructions at the beginning on how to subcut, and like we said last time, this book is a really lovely book because it gives really good instructions on what you need to be doing. So you've got down this side here are all your cutting instructions on how to
And is that to cut all 4?
That's to cut all 4.
And they've actually done 2 different bear styles.
Yeah, because you're making, well, if you're using a jelly roll, of course, you don't have a lot of a couple of prints. You've got a few of lots of prints, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So you will end up with bears that look slightly different. And you can do the same effect with the fat quarters that we've put in the bundle, because you can cut them in different ways.
Yes.
So if you just cut your 2.5-inch strips, it tells you how many you need. You can cut from there. And then it takes you through the instructions. The way that you do your bear is that you do it in segments, in strips effectively. So this has got the instructions here for Unit A, and then it moves on to Unit B, Unit C, etc.
Yeah.
And then you join them all together. So it shows you here how you join each of those units together to create, essentially create the block, add some sashing strips, and then you add further sashing strips and then join them together.
Fabulous.
So you've got all your instructions there. So what we're doing here is I've done units A and I've done the unit E. What have I done? D and E. So today I thought I'd cover off some of unit B and C, these 2 bits in the middle.
Okay. I just think he's, wow, just charming, utterly charming. Oh, that's your one, isn't it? Keep it. For myself.
A little reminder as to what I'm doing with these. So, like I say, I've done the 2 strips at the bottom and 1 at the top, because I thought then you could start to see it come together a bit more quickly than if we hadn't. So a lot of the construction is adding a square onto the edge of a rectangle. So what you need to do is you have your little squares, your rectangles and squares. So I'll do these 2 here, which are the outsides of the face. So I'll just bring this across. So it's this section here that I'm doing his side of his cheek, and then we're using a background piece here to create this angle going across here.
Yes,
so we'll do 2 of those. And we do the same thing here. You've got his face, and then this is a bow tie here. So you add a triangle effectively on the edge of this one. So we're going to do those. So in order to do that, it's quite a simple process. It looks like, if you're a beginner, it might be quite a scary thing to do, but don't be worried about it. If you get your square, and they're 2.5-inch squares that they've asked you to subcut into, and just draw a line down the middle. And if you're more experienced or more confident, you can, of course, just eyeball that.
It's wherever you're at on your journey, isn't it? It's like a lot of our guests will say, now you can pin, I'm not going to for speed. But that's just because it's muscle memory, isn't it? You've done it so many times.
Yeah, and you sort of get your eye in. I think it's a bit like driving sometimes. To begin with, everything you've really got to remember and think about.
Yes.
And then gradually, actually, you know where everything is. You can just feel for it.
Yes.
So I think it's a bit like driving in that way.
So mark all these off.
So I've marked these off. Just bear in mind, if you're using an air erasable pen, that they won't stay there forever. So don't mark ahead too many at once.
Or just use a different pen.
Or just use a different pen. Okay, so these were the faces. So those are going on this one, and then these 2 are going on this one. Okay, just shuffle slightly to the left. So we need to create 2 that go this way. I'm just trying to remind myself which way the lines go.
But this is all in the book. So each line, each step here is in the book.
So I'll do those.
A third of the book is already gone.
Oh,
gosh.
Good grief.
Please check out your baskets. This sold out the first time that we brought it to air. We've got a big love for Pam and Nicky's books. They are award-winning. They are fabulous.
Oh, well, I'm not surprised they're award-winning.
Really lovely people too. Really lovely.
They're good, clear books, and I like a good, clear book. I'm quite a visual
This time last year it was, and I only remember this because it's Stitches again. Stitches is a big trade fair that they have at the NEC for all things sort of stitchery. And they have in-industry awards. And John and I compared, to celebrate the start of sewing quarter and all this. And we did all of the presentations for all of the awards. And before we'd started, I'd been sat on the table with a lovely lady having a good old chinwag, and then got up to give the awards, and Pam and Nicky Lintott. And
up they came.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Fabulous.
So I can say honestly, very lovely, down to earth,
that's nice.
very lovely people. Yeah,
lovely. Right, so what we need to do now is we're going to sew, this isn't like doing half square triangles, we're going to sew directly on the line that we've drawn.
Okay, so you just need to get your head round these a little bit,
These aren't half square triangles, they are
cheek pieces.
Yes. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain piece these 4 at the same time. The book tells you to do one, then the next one, then the next one kind of thing, but I'll just chain piece them. When I'm chain piecing, what I'll do is the way I'm going to start, and I don't know if you can see this on the screen, is that rather than starting with the narrow bit here, for me, logically, that's how I would normally sew, but actually, if you turn it around this way, you've got this excess here on this side, underneath the foot.
It's less likely to chew, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't bulk up the foot, bulk up underneath the foot. So the foot's got something to grab onto. So I'll start that underneath.
It's these little things that are just tips for success.
It does help you along your way. So I'll do that first one. I'll get near to the end, well, at the end. And then I'll pop the next one under, just lift the presser foot just to get that excess underneath the presser foot again. And then gradually that will just start grabbing and that will pull that through.
Now, Victoria, obviously we're only doing one of 4 blocks. But how much fabric did you use out of those? Because you've got 12 fat quarters.
Yes,
that's a lot of fabric.
Yeah, I really didn't use that much. I used because we bundled it together with a plain background fabric, not backing, but background fabric. So that, I've used the majority of that, or a fairly decent amount of that. But I'm afraid I've left it all in plastic bags, but there's absolutely tons in there.
So to make 1 block, and Victoria had all of these left over. Well, I mean, it looks like it, you can hardly tell that it's...
Yeah, it looks like I've not used any.
Yeah. That's brilliant. So there's going to be plenty. Here's the kit, and I think this is, today has got some of my absolute favourite makes in. I'm absolutely loving today. $57.99. The fabric is absolutely exquisite. This is your Autumn Grace Teddy Bear Quilting Bundle, and the designer here, she wants that shabby chic look. She wants that romantic feel. That's what she's gone for. That's how she designs.
Yeah, it is a slightly antique-y feel to it, antique traditional feel.
As bears should.
Yes, I think
there's nothing better than an antique love bear.
I live near Telford.
Yes.
And Ironbridge.
Yes.
And there's a really, really lovely teddy bear shop there. Really proper old traditional
Well, in Stratford they used to have a massive teddy bear shop with a great big
Yes, this one's got a big bear outside.
Yes, brilliant. Oh, Anne in Cheshire, good morning to you.
Hi,
Anne. She says, Tash, Victoria and Lucy, Ladies' Day for Valentine's Day.
Isn't it?
Yes, absolutely, love it. With producer Paul to keep us all in order. Yes.
Yeah, all right. If he thinks that's what it is,
yeah,
we're never in control.
He says if we misbehave, he'll just take us to a break.
Oh, good luck with that. He'll be down dancing, filling in. Right, if we could just press these.
Yes, of course. There you go. Have those back.
Have those back in my trolley.
A little jiggery pokery on the desk over here.
Rearrange.
Director Tim says it might be the ladies' show, but it's run by men, says Director Tim. And what have you started? What have you started? You see, Paul, for once, knows when to stop and says, I didn't say that. Did not say that.
He was thinking it, but he didn't say it.
Moment.
Okay, that's fine. So we'll press those and then we will trim off the edges. So why don't I, just whilst that's doing that, make a start on the other ones, because like I say, it's lots of repeated processes.
So
we
actually,
do the same thing.
If you're new to quilting, then this will teach you new ideas, new skills, and because it's repeated, the fear goes, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
It's like your car analogy. The more you drive, the more you get used to it, the better it gets.
Yeah.
Apart from possibly reverse parking.
Yes, and reversing around a corner. Those crazy things that you do in your test. And the other day, the girls were talking about driving and what was the most difficult part of driving. And I said, well, yeah, reverse parking, but only for me because I don't do it anymore. I think when you don't live in a big town or city, then you don't reverse park. You just drive straight into a space.
I reverse every day for work.
Oh, do you?
Gotta keep those skills in. Right, this should be heating up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Can I show you this again? Because
we'll swap places. You can do that. I'll give it a press.
Yeah, producer Paul agrees with me. He says that this has got to be one of the best things that we've done. I absolutely fell in love with this moment that I saw it in the book, and
both of you really liked it. Didn't you?
No, absolutely loved it. And I went straight to Adele, who does our scheduling. I said, Adele, please, 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 we have to do this. And I even went and picked the fabric. I said, please, can we mix this fabric? Because in the book it's done with editor sitar fabric.
Yeah.
And this was the closest kind of looking
yeah,
fabric
it's got
that
a similar feel to it.
It does have that beautiful romantic feel to it. And timeless, that's the thing. If you're giving this as a gift for a baby or a child, that's going to be an absolute timeless gorgeousness. My gran, who's heading towards 90, has a teddy bear that you turn upside down and it growls.
Yeah, my parents have both got one of those.
Love it, and it's just one of those things that I always think of, and this is giving me that feel, and I think that's why I love it so much. I haven't got another little message. Producer Paul hasn't come down.
It hasn't arrived.
Apparently there's another one. But...
So what I'm doing now is, now that we've just pressed those flat, I'm just trimming off the excess from these, because what we're going to do is flip over that little triangle that we're creating.
Now, this little ruler, how handy. There's always a right ruler for the job, isn't there? There's always a correct sort of size. And this one is your...
12 and a half by
12
3
and a half
by
3 and a half, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, which is just a very handy little size. Check out the website for all of these little sizes, because you'll find the one that feels right for you. And Victoria's just whizzing away with these.
Yeah, I think that's a decent size, because sometimes when they're too big, they just get in the way. So here, now that we've pressed those, I'm just going to flip those open.
You do that. I'm going to show everybody this book, because I can't get enough of it. There's a different feel throughout this. So that one I was drawn to because I love the bears, but there are lots of other ones. And like I say, there are the whole feel towards this is, if you have a jelly roll pack, you can cut your own. That's absolutely fine. But if you did happen to have, look, that's the heart, and that's the, so they're from the same jelly roll pack. Or fat quarter pack if you're cutting your own. So if you want to, and you have a jelly roll pack, then you can do 2 from 1 jelly roll, and that's the idea. So lots of different ideas, different ways to play.
And it's nice that if you've used a jelly roll for something else and you have some left, you could flip through that book and figure out what you could make from what you've got left.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at that. Wow. The working is stunning. If I'm just going to flick right to the back here and find you, look there. So there we go. That's your teddy bear, and that's the heart. There's the heart. That's the one that we did before. Now, let me pop that down. These are the blocks. Now these were done on point, weren't they? So if I remember rightly.
Yes, so when they go all together.
If I can actually get it around the right way.
Yes.
There we go. So they go together sort of like that. But if you would like these, then we have the bundle that makes this, which is $44.49, and that's pink loving hearts. And that's 5 meters of fabric. That's going to make a whopper. That makes a really nice size. That one, I think, is a slightly larger quilt, but only slightly larger than the teddy bears. Gorgeous. And that one's not too difficult either, because that uses some of these same techniques that we're looking at here. Oh, so you can build on your technique. Yes. So this one would nicely build. You could use this one to then build your skills to move on to the next one. Because in the book, the teddy bears come first, and then the hearts after that. Yeah. Beautiful. Wonderful. I think we're going to see this book a lot. We'll have to get more in stock, because obviously over a third of it's already gone. See what else there is. But it's proving to be a big favourite, even if just of mine. Even just yours. Okay, so there you can start to see this next section coming together. So what we'll do now is we'll attach these two together, because this is the rest of his face and or her face, and the top of the bow tie, and then these are the sides of the faces. So I'm going to attach these two together. So does it explain where to use the same fabrics and where to use different ones? Is there like a key? Yes, it sort of says to choose lighter, darker, selection of reds, etc. So it does helps guide you. And it's useful because all the diagrams are sort of coloured in, they're not just black and white. And because they're coloured in, you can see, okay, well, if I visualise that one with that one. And what I tend to do is I'll photocopy one of the pages, and I can colour in and scrawl on it. Scribble over it. Yeah. Or just change to my 1/4 inch foot. Again, this is tools for the job, isn't it? So how long does a bear take? How long does one little bear take? Well, I did the bear quilt, which I spent half an hour planning,
and pressing fabrics and...
That's not too bad. That's, you know, I would probably still be umming and ahhing.
I know, sometimes that process takes longer than I like. But then making the whole thing, pardon me, including making the quilt sandwich and binding it, making the binding, because it's got a nice scrappy binding for the outside, made from leftover bits and pieces from your fat quarters. I think it took me about 8.5 hours.
Oh, okay.
And that includes a bit of light quilting as well.
A spot of light
quilting. Of light quilting.
Oh, I do like a spot of light quilting. And I just think it's fabulous. So actually, and of course, if you were to do 4 of these, then you would cut appropriately. So that would cut down your cutting time,
yeah, so it took me 3.5 hours just to piece the front. Okay. So times that by 4.
Yeah.
Because it won't take you 4 times the time that it's taken me to make that.
Yes.
Because it just won't do. And you'll do a lot more chain piecing, and you only have to make the binding once. It's not going to take you 4 times as long to do the binding.
I think this is one of my all-time favourites. Definitely. Definitely. I just adore it, and the fabric is just right. It gives that kind of antique yesteryear sort of feel to it. Just adore it. Absolutely adore it. It's just all so right. And I love it when we can get the colourways and the fabric styles so close to how it was first imagined in the book.
Yes, it's nice to be able to recreate that, because that's not always possible.
It's not, and sometimes it's really nice to put a different twist or a more modern twist, and of course you can do that. Once you've got the book, you can put your own take on it. But I think if you want to stay true to the book, true to how it was first imagined by Pam and Nicky, then one of these kits absolutely does it justice, completely. Just beautiful. So, what are we doing at the moment?
I'm just attaching the side of the cheek, if you like, to a piece of backing, which just goes next to the head. So I'll do one of those. But the segment I've just left down there is...
Do you want that pressed?
Yes, you can press that if you like. Does that get pressed open? I just would say press that to one side, and then we'll press the bottom half to the other side when we get to that. And the book does tell you which direction to press everything in.
Oh, does it?
Or most things. Sometimes it doesn't matter which way you're pressing.
Oh, half the stock of the book's already gone. It sold out when we bought this on the 24th of January. By the way, when you do get the book, do look up that show on YouTube. 24th, it was 9 o'clock, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly. 9 o'clock on the 24th of January, and that's when we did the heart. Yes. So when you get this kit, you could always do a bear and then some hearts.
Yeah, and it shows you in that show how we do the 9-patch.
Yes. What if you did the hearts around the bear? You can mix the 2 up.
You could. There might need a bit of maths to make sure that they work.
But you could just do strips, couldn't you, to make maths work?
Add bits.
Right. She says. She's not feeling quite so confident about that statement.
But we were talking earlier about how about the double-sided quilts, and these are the hearts and the teddy bears are really similar in size. Yes. So I think it's the teddy bears that are slightly smaller. What's that? 46. So the finished quilt size for the teddy bear quilt is 46 by 46, and the hearts are 49 by 49.
So 3 inches.
So you could just increase the sides of some of the sashing strips to make it fit.
So then you could do the hearts one side, you could do the bears the other side, and have the most almighty double-sided wonderful show-stopping quilt to end all quilts.
Yeah. I think that would be nice.
Sorry, I just hit you in my excitement.
Bashed me, it's fine. Workers' comp.
It's the excitement.
Right, would you mind pressing those flat? Yeah. And I'll just double check which way.
You still trust me with a 9.
I do trust you with a 9. I don't know why. And then we're going to press these seam allowances on that one. We're pressing towards this big square. That way.
Director Tim says, do we need to see my ironing? No, just iron to the big side.
Iron to the big side.
And it's in the book, so you're all fine. Grab yourself the book, half the stock's gone. Do not miss out. There we go. Whereabouts are the ironing instructions in here?
So they've just got the arrows.
Oh, okay.
Nice and simple.
I remember this with the hearts now. So that tells you those arrows down there are kind of shorthand for press to the big side.
Press this way.
Nice. Excellent. That helps. That really helps.
It does. You know, it's one thing having it written, press to this side, but to actually see an arrow going this way.
I made a squirrel last night, as you do, obviously.
As you do. Made a squirrel.
Quietly in your own time. And it was a patchwork squirrel. In fact, it's on the set, just behind the stair. And, and I didn't quite press one of them the right way, and I should have just stopped. But by that time, I'd cut it all up.
You think, oh, it'll be
didn't,
fine.
You know, I didn't do it, and it's just behind Victoria's shoulder. So you know, there he is.
Here he is. That's impressive.
Well,
well, just sort of here's something I whipped up last night.
What I should have done was go back and repress.
Yeah.
So it's one of these things. This is out of the book that we've got later.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah.
So I was in London at the weekend, and there was a squirrel. People were very excited by the squirrel in London. And
really?
You're going, oh, I live in the countryside.
Yeah. Squirrels normally mean me being towed down the road by many dogs getting very excited because they've seen a squirrel. Do I need to press anything, or are you just going to go for another?
I will press in a minute, because I figure may as well just attach the other side on, and then we can press.
If you were to do all 4 of them,
yes,
would you do the same process on each? How
I
would you do it?
segment A, all of them.
All 4.
Yeah. Well, it depends how your brain works, because you can either do all of the segment A's,
yes,
or you can do all of the attaching squares and rectangles, because you could chain piece all of those at the same time.
Okay.
But I think to do it that way, you'd have to be quite organised, because it doesn't show it that way in the book.
Okay, what's the other way?
It's doing segment A, segment B, segment C.
I'm a segment A, segment B kind of a girl then.
Yeah.
The moment you said organised.
It's more foolproof, because you're just following the pattern and you would just repeat it the 4 times.
Okay.
It's the safer way of doing it.
I like that. I like the safer way.
Less room for error.
Please do check out your baskets on this book. Like I say, first time we brought it to it, it's sold out. It is utterly charming, and 18 different designs in there, which is just gorgeous. I'm going to.
It feels like really good value, that, doesn't it, when you've got 18 different options in a book.
In fact, I'm going to. Oh no, I don't need to take it over there. I've got
one over there.
Yeah.
Surrounded by books.
Show some fabric, and then I'll be back whilst you're brilliantly pressing. Now, I've got 2 different bundles for you on the fabric. So if you want the one that the bear is already made out of, that's your greens and your browns over here. And so you get 12 fat quarters, beautiful fat quarters. You're also getting 1 metre of this as well, just your plain, so that that's what really makes the bear pop out of the quilt. And that's $57.99. Look at all those beautiful colourways to play with. So you do have so much to play with, and then this is what you can make. Ta-da! Oh, you've got to start checking out your basket, says Producer Paul. Oh yes. Don't miss out on him, he's just gorgeous. Can't. And then this is the one that we're demoing with at the moment. So if maybe you're making for a little one who just loves pink, then this is the way. And you've got, but they're not sort of sickly pinks, are they? They're beautiful, warm shades, a little bit dusky, just a romantic and shabby chicy. 4 of you already got this sitting in your basket. Please check out, don't miss out on these. We don't have massive stocks of these. $57.99, NRGC 77. Now the fat quarters, I just wanted to show you some of the beautiful designs, because you're going to have some left over, depending on how many bears you decide to do. Now this is, look at that. Isn't that stunning? Really beautiful. I like that one. It's a good mix of... It does. It's got pinks, reds. You've also got kind of an antique gold in there as well. Now you're getting 12 of these. I want to also to show you, because I think that I'm a big fan of chintz and stripes, so of course you get your stripes in there as well. But also, just look at this. Now this is designed by Verna Mosquera. I might not have pronounced that quite right, but she does love that romantic feel, and that's what she really specialises in. It's beautiful, isn't it? You see, I know that the boys upstairs in the production office, they always like when they say, oh yes, I could see that as a pocket square. That's when you absolutely know that they love it. Now, for the book, of course, that's what you need in order to make these, and so many more. You've got 18 different designs in there, so don't miss out on that, because so many of you did last time we brought it to air, back in January. Here it is. But Producer Paul says you really need to check out. He cannot stress that enough. Don't miss out. If you missed out last time, do not miss out again, because it really is a truly beautiful book. It's one of our favourites here. Brand new buyers today, if you're spending over £20, and this is only for today. By today, I mean from 8 o'clock today through until 7:59 tomorrow. That's our 24 hours. That's our today, whilst our programmes repeat. So if you are buying today and it's your first purchase ever, we've got something a little bit different for you. So if you spend over £20, you will get our A4 cutting mat, which is a self-healing cutting mat, plus 8 fat quarters. Beautiful. And you just need to use the code SQLOVE. Gorgeous. And they'll be coming to you just, you know, because we can. Beautiful. Victoria, I'm coming back. Kind of a warning.
Kind of a warning.
Yeah.
Quick, tidy up.
Now, look lively. Here are your cheeks.
Cheek to cheek.
So we've got the cheeks and we've got the top of the bow tie in that strip along there. Fabulous.
And then that goes with the ears.
Yay!
See the face coming together.
Brilliant. Just
Okay.
gorgeous.
So I've repeated that same process that we were doing before with the rectangles and the squares. I've drawn the diagonal line, and then I'm going to press that and trim those off.
Nice.
Okay. Quick press.
You do that.
Okay.
Now down the bottom, Victoria's already made the legs.
Legs and feet.
So we've already done legs and feet. Again, a lot of this is repetitive, so you know you will get used to doing it. So if you know, if sewing a diagonal line is a bit ooh for you, don't worry.
Yeah, if you're not sure in the beginning, like I say, do segment A, segment B, and before you know it, you'll be whizzing along.
You might, I mean, this is it. In the book, it shows you how to do a quilt with 4 of the bears, but it might be that you just want to make this as a really big cuddly cushion.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
An amazing big cuddly cushion.
Yeah, I've got a couple of really massive cushions on our spare bed.
I do like a big cushion, or even just as a floor cushion.
Yeah, or you could turn it into a pouffe.
Well, if only we knew how, Victoria.
If only we knew how.
Tell us how. Tell us how. Oh, that's in an hour's time. Yay!
So those are trimmed off, and we're going to press those open.
So which bits are these? These are the next layer down.
Yeah, next layer down. So this is the bottom half. This is the bottom half of the bow tie, and
that one.
Yes, that's the one we're doing. Unit C.
There you go. That one. All becomes clear.
Clear as mud.
Oh, and you see again those arrows denoting which way. Do you need to look at that? Which way to?
No, that's fine. I'm just putting that
which
in
way
there.
to press your seams.
So I've just put in the bottom half of the bow tie on that side.
Very nice. So that's the bottom bit of the bow tie there that's going to attach to the top bit any second. So that will then attach to this bit there. There you go. Oh, there. Hurrah.
So that's bottom half of the bow tie, and then I'm just doing the paws.
It's got a very different feel, hasn't it, in the pink?
In the pinks.
Much softer. Just lovely. Just
and
lovely.
You could, because we've got fat quarters rather than jelly rolls, you could make all of the clothes out of the spot, for example. So you can be a bit more selective.
So you have more scope for creativity.
You do.
Because the whole, I mean, Pam and Nicky, they're renowned for their jelly roll quilts because they love a good pre-cut. But here it's very easy to cut your own, and then you actually have more design options, don't you? Which is lovely.
You've got a lot more.
We've had an email through, apparently, and this is from Helen in Derbyshire.
Hi, Helen.
Look, she's
hooray!
I have the book and the instructions are great. Here is my bear quilt. Helen, you clever thing. He looks wonderful.
Does look great.
He's a dapper chap.
Very smart.
Isn't he a very dapper chap?
And she's used similar colourways as well to create that traditional bear feel.
I love that, and I think that's really worth doing, keeping it.
But you can see there how she's chosen each bear's slightly different.
Beautiful.
Which is nice.
Thank you for sharing, Helen. And I love this. I love when you get the book and you're inspired to make and not just look through it with a cup of coffee. That's okay
I'm not
too.
guilty of that at all.
No, we don't let you.
So these ones are using exactly the same technique as we were using before, attaching the squares to the rectangles, but in this the end result is slightly different because we're adding one on the other side.
Oh, okay.
So we'll do one on the corner like we've done before, then we're placing another one over the top.
Is there going to be a slight overlap?
So here we'll start off, it doesn't matter which end you start off, but this square does overlap the triangle that you created a minute ago.
And that's okay.
So that's fine, because what that does is that will create a point in the middle here. But this point won't be on the very edge. It's 1/4 of an inch away from the edge.
Which will be your seam allowance.
Which will be your seam allowance, so it creates that nice point.
First time I did anything like that, obviously I had a panic. And Lucy said that when she teaches, it's not uncommon for people to panic and just cut it off and things.
Trim it off. Don't trim. No trimming. Unless the pattern says trim, don't trim. Trust the pattern. Go with it.
Now the bundles that you've got, you have plenty in there to make the whole quilt.
What I should have done,
yes,
if I'd had more time, is I should have worked out whether there was enough left over to create the bulk of one of the heart quilts. That would have been really useful, wouldn't it?
Well, we'll think about that.
Hindsight and all that.
Yeah, it's an exact science.
And quilting is actually an exact science.
Of course it is. Of course
it is. Got it right.
So when you do your bears, you do have enough to do the 4 bears, and then what you back it in is up to you. The thing with the book is, and this is where we got a little bit confused, didn't we? Because we thought that the hearts were going to be the back for the bear, and it's not. It's just that if you have a jelly roll, you can make both quilts out of your jelly roll pack. We've got fat quarters for you, and it talks about how to use those instead of jelly rolls, so absolutely fine. But it doesn't tell you, it doesn't denote how you should do the backing or the wadding, because that's your choice. Always, that's your choice, isn't it?
Yeah, and it depends what you're using it for, if it's a wall hanging or whether it's going to be stored a lot or whether it's going to be used to keep you warm. You might want something with more loft.
Well, and also who the recipient is, as to whether or not you want, whether you want to have an all cotton wadding. That comes down to your preference, and always look on our website if you're after anything like that, then you're absolutely fine. But as a wall hanging, how charming is this? Look at that. And you can just start to imagine it, can't you, in a little baby's room, looking utterly gorgeous, maybe over the top of the, at the head of the cot, or
just if, for nighttime feeds, to have on your feeding chair or somewhere, to keep you both nice and warm.
Yes.
Sorry, I was going that way, but I'm not going that way. I'm going to show you here. So
about 10 minutes.
I've attached the second square, and like we said, that's overlapping, and then we're going to just flip it over.
Flip, flop,
so we've just trimmed off that excess corner here, which I've just binned, and we're going to flip that over and press it. And that creates that triangle.
Oh, that gives his paw, that gives the end of the paw. So if you're wondering where we're at, what we're just doing is this paw bit here.
Yeah.
So that's where the triangle is. And I'll just pause there.
Pause there.
Bear with me. And all those other sort of, puns.
I did a terrible Pancake Day joke yesterday.
Did you?
Apparently, Andrew, husband, texted me. Do people text anymore?
Yeah, of course I do.
Messaged me, WhatsApped me, to say that we use something like 52 million eggs on Pancake Day, which is something, and I can't remember,
a lot
like
of
32 million more than any other day.
Normal egg-based days, yes.
And I said to him, how do they ramp up production for that? That's crazy. How do they suddenly get loads more eggs on that day? And he says, I don't know, good question. And then I went, they exert themselves. And he said, that's it, I'm off.
Awful.
Back to work.
That is really
It was really bad, but I couldn't resist. It was there.
No, well, it's there, isn't it?
It was there.
Absolutely there.
Had to do it. So what we're doing here, rather than just chatting about terrible egg jokes, is that we now attach all of these segments together. So I'm going to attach this middle segment here, and we're going to press the seam, because this one we press the seam this way.
Yes.
So on this one we're going to press the seam the other way, so that when you come to put those together, they'll nest nicely. Nice. So I'm going to place those together and stitch those. At the same time, I'm also going to attach a paw to the outside of that one, and a paw to the outside of that one.
Okay. So you can kind of chain piece, can't you? And then you know where you're at.
Yes. And like I say, when you're doing 4, you might do 1 slowly, and then for the rest of them, you might go, oh, actually, I know what I'm doing here.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? As soon as you've done anything once, you know, the second time is easier.
It is
I do love the idea of having that as a lovely big cushion. I'm a bit taken with that.
Well, and it doesn't have to be necessarily quite as big, because of course I've got some sashing strips around the outside.
I think it's the versatility of this. So you could just have it as a wall hanging. You could have it as a great big cushion or a smaller cushion, depending on how much sashing and whatnot you want to add into it. Or do 4 of them and have that lovely big quilt. This is this says heirloom all over it to me.
It does, doesn't it? Something you could hand down.
Just beautiful.
And you know what, that's one of the nicest parts about quilt making, is that more often than not, they are things that get kept. Because with making clothes for children, they grow. They make things grubby, and you don't tend... Well, they do. It's the reality of it, and you don't keep them.
Well, the children.
The children, no, you send them back. As soon as possible, send them back. Yeah, but something like a quilt does get kept.
Of course it does, yes.
Much nicer.
Yes. And my nanny always used to knit us jumpers for birthday and Christmas. So I always had double bubble, because I always used to get my brothers hand-me-downs.
Oh, yes.
So I'd always, and she'd always, because she knew that we loved animals and whatnot, so it would be Dalmatians or something knitted in.
Wow, she's a good knitter.
Yeah, she's got knitting machines and all sorts.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, she keeps threatening to teach me how to use them. And yeah, no, I'm up for learning.
Can you knit normally?
No. Not even, well, I can knit one per one, that's it. But follow a pattern.
Not bad.
Joking.
That is like a different language.
Yeah. No, I'll stick with sewing.
At least quilting comes with pictures sometimes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Much easier. Oh, no.
We've got about 7 minutes.
Okay, we'll just keep plodding along.
Yeah, there we go.
We'll trim those off, and then we'll press those. Would you like to press those flat? There you go.
Press those flat?
Or press them flat first, and then we'll open them up. Let me remind myself.
Oh, yeah, like
so
that.
Yes, just set the seams. So those ones, the paws, the excess goes towards the paw.
Towards the paw.
Towards the paw.
That way.
Head towards the paw.
Okay. Oh, only 10 books left.
Oh.
Gosh. Please do check out your baskets for the books.
And we had 10,900.
Oh,
we
some huge amounts. Huge amounts. But that is your book. So please, if you are after that, please do make sure, I've already said that, don't worry. Please do make sure that you're checking out your baskets. Like I say, first time we brought it to air, it sold out. Really quickly, actually.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
So we've brought more stock. So for anyone that missed out last time, get it quick. Only 10 remaining. Probably fewer by now.
Keep going. Hello. This one was the bottom half, and we're pressing that towards that side.
Okay. All right, boss.
Nothing like being bossy. I was called bossy when I was little.
Were you?
Yeah.
I don't think that as just being organised. My niece bosses everyone around. She's got her whole school organised, and she's only 4.
Ah.
She knows what she's doing. I've got them all sorted.
So now we're going to join those together. That's coming together nicely, isn't it?
Isn't she wonderful?
She wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to attach this one to this one, and then this one to this one. We'll do it in 2 stages. Oh, hold on, I don't want to get it upside down.
The colourways just work, don't they? They really do work with this. It's soft, it's friendly, it's just a lovely bear. A fully lovely bear. Now, a little note about eyes and noses.
Eyes and noses. Eyes and noses, you've got options with eyes and noses. You could embroider them on, if you like, if you're a dab hand at embroidery, or you can applique them on.
Are these appliqued?
Half appliqued, in that they are bonder webbed on, but I didn't stitch them on.
No, that's okay, that's okay.
So those I've just cut. And actually, you know what, I've done slightly smaller. The pattern suggests, I think, 1 3/4 inch diameter circles.
Okay.
But that was too big.
Okay.
That was much too big, so I went smaller.
And again, you know, if this is going to be a wall hanging, maybe you want to use buttons or, you know, and do that. So it's entirely up to you. Helen's didn't have any eyes.
No, it didn't. But the book does say, and they're right, that if you're making for children, probably not buttons.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. If it's going to be a wall hanging, that's fine. So think about who the recipient is going to be as to what is then going to be appropriate. And yeah, stitch, sew, applique appropriately.
Whatever works for you. I'm just making sure that goes vaguely straight. I'm lining that.
Which is the most popular producer, Paul? Is it the brown or the pink bear? is the one that detail. What, that one there? The pink. This one. The one we're working with. Fabulous. There it is. Looking good. Oh, just move that out of the way. Oh, it does. Okay, so my next question is, who are you making for? That's who I'd like to know. So Helen, who did you make that beautiful quilt for? And if you've got 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Yeah, 3 minutes. And if you've just bought the book and you're planning on making the quilt, who are you going to make it for? It's okay for it to be so. I think that's okay.
It is okay. Right, I just need to remind myself on
which way?
Segment, which way we're pressing these ones in towards the middle.
Oh yeah, the arrows go in. That's really handy.
Yes, and you can see from a distance.
So this, I mean, this is it. This is one of the best ways that I've seen it explained because it couldn't be clearer. Arrows go in on this bit. This is the bit that Victoria's pressing at the moment. Arrows in. Press those seams in. And the paws went out. Those go
in, in, out, in, out.
And then, because otherwise, I don't know about you, I end up jiggling it around, trying to flip it and go, oh, which way do I need? I sometimes even end up having it flipped so that I know that the ones underneath, which way they already go, and then pressing it. It's just, I get myself in a right hole.
It is easy to get into a pickle.
So actually, that is brilliant. We've got about 2 minutes.
Okay. Well, now you come to the point where you attach all of the segments together.
So you've got your rows.
So you've got all your rows. I've done those ones at the bottom. I've added 3 together at the bottom. So we'll do segment A to segment B. And here, because we've followed the book, and the seam allowances on this one go this way, and some seam allowances here go this way, it means that these two will nest together because these seams match.
Oh, nice.
On here.
The book, producer Paul says, has probably sold out.
Oh.
He thinks that there are more of you with it in your basket than we actually have stock of it. Same story. So if anybody is new today, firstly, what you need to know is you can check out as many times as you like throughout the day. So if you see something you absolutely love it, check out. That's the only way to absolutely secure it. So if you're sitting with it in your basket and we've got more of you with it in your basket than we have stock, check out. That secures it. Our P&P is done per day, so that's applied at midnight tonight. So that's why you can check out your basket as many times as you like, and we still only charge you 1 P&P per day. Took me a while to get my head around that. Like, how can they do that?
It's a clever system that works that out.
Good. It's very good.
Now, I don't have any pins. I would pin this section.
Really?
Just because you just want to make sure that you are nesting those seams properly. But I forgot to ask for pins. That was a bit silly, wasn't it?
Helen of the Bears.
Helen of the Bears.
As she shall henceforth be known, Helen of the Bears, says, Helen here, I actually made 3 of these for grandchildren. You did love it. I bet they loved it too.
That's really nice.
That is beautiful. I bet you're glad you didn't have 16 grandchildren.
Could you imagine?
2 others were pink-based for the girls. Beautiful.
Oh, that's nice.
Beautiful.
What lovely gifts, and nice that they've all got one together.
I think it's really special.
Yeah.
Really special. I mean, my grandmother, she loved her tapestries as well, and we've got Beatrix Potter tapestries framed. And my brother, she did a set of 4, which she did for my mum when she was a baby, and now we've got them. So my brother's got 2, I've got 2.
That's really nice.
And obviously they're in the kids' bedrooms, but that, you know, and that just carries on.
And is it Peter Rabbit's birthday this year? Well, it's every year, but 100th birthday. Is it 100th birthday? 150th birthday?
He's old. He looks great.
He's pretty old.
One of his face cream.
It's because he exercises a lot.
Yeah. Saw those vegetables eat.
So obviously you would press that, but there you can see the face. One face.
Victoria, that is stunning. One of my favourite makes.
Thank you
so much.
No problem.
You're back with another favourite maker. It's my favourite day today. You're back with a stunner.
Yes,
Absolute
some foundation
corker.
paper piecing.
I have been admiring this in the office.
It's great. I love it.
You'll be amazed that it's actually even still in the office because I've been coveting it for so long. It's this. We're back with that. Right. Okay. Right. That's basically gone. Well done. Congratulations. Let me pop that down. Now, the kit that we've just been using is this one here. So this has got your lovely pinks and those dusky pinks, and you've got your neutrals in there, and you've almost got kind of like a buttery, milky yellow in there. It's just exquisite. It's kind of got that antique, shabby chic feel. Another 3 of you, just pop this in your basket, $57.99. You also get a metre of fabric there as well, and your thread, so you are good to go. beautiful. Now, the version that Victoria has made is out of this bundle. And I think this will do boys, girls, you know, anything. It just is a classic. And this here has got your browns, your greens. I'm not normally a fan of green, but I love this green. It's such a soft, mossy green. Really love that. And of course, you've also got your pinks through there, your soft pinks through there. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous bundle. And that is £57.99. And this is what you can be achieving. It's meant there. Now imagine that times 4. Oh, it's just beautiful. Now we have another kit to show you as well. So if you want to be able to make, go this way, this heart quilt design, which is also in the book. So if you've got the book, then you're in a real strong place in order to do that. Then here we go. These are the fabrics. You're getting 5 meters of fabric in here in order to be able to do this. And there's a lovely range of fabrics in there. You've got some plains, you've got some spots, you've also got some art gallery fabrics in there. You've also got some organic cotton in there as well. There's all sorts of beautifulness going on in here, but please do check out your baskets if you're after this very, very pretty colourway. Now, there's no reason why you couldn't do your bears out of this as well. It's entirely up to you. $44.49. When you've got the book, you're able to do that. Please check out your baskets on all of the bundles. They are starting to run low. After the break, we have Lucy Brennan, and she's bringing us a little hint of the Fairground with the merry-go-round quilt. Isn't that stunning? Yes. Now, we've got some big, big, big quilting bundles for you so that you can achieve that and so much more. So don't go anywhere. Stay with us. So after the break, obviously, it's Lucy, more fabrics, more hints, tips, advice, and some work with some rulers. So don't go anywhere. Well, I'll let you grab a cup of tea, but we'll be back in just 3 minutes. Follow us on Pinterest. Search for our Sewing Quarter page and follow us to discover sewing work we create and love. Spread the love this Valentine's Day with our special offer for new Sewing Quarter customers. Shop with us for the first time, and if you spend more than £20, you'll receive 2 amazing free gifts. Every new customer gets a free Sewing Quarter A4 self-healing cutting mat, but for our Valentine's offer, we're also giving away a stunning pack of fat quarters when you use the code SQLOVE. Combined, this freebie is worth over £26. In gorgeous red, pink and neutral shades, the So Easy Rose 8-piece fat quarter bundle is perfect for quilting and sewing projects in 100% cotton. Don't miss out. This offer runs for 24 hours only, from 8 AM on Wednesday the 14th of February to 8 AM on Thursday the 15th of February when you use code SQLOVE. Did you know there are multiple ways you can contact us, even if it's just to ask a question? Our friendly team are always on standby. You can call our customer service team at 0800 112 4433, email us at help@sewingquarter.com, visit our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter @sewingquarter, and even message us through our website, and our presenters will answer your questions live on air.
Join us on Thursday the 15th of February when Lucy Brennan takes us over the rainbow with a glorious Technicolor quilt. Mixing 10 beautiful colours including turquoise, bright red, lime green and on-trend violet on a white background, this design from Love Patchwork and Quilting magazine is a modern classic. As we've thoughtfully put all the fabrics required into a handy kit, all you have to do is sit back and let Lucy share her tips and tricks for making it. So tune in for an hour of colourful quilting, Thursday the 15th of February at 10 AM, only on Sewing Quarter, Freeview Channel 78 and Sky Channel 678.
Oh, another cracking hour coming up. Lucy Brennan's joining us this hour to make a fabulous merry-go-round quilt. Now, the inspiration she's taken from this book here, which is 25 ways to sew jelly roll, layer cakes and charm packs. Now, we're limited on this book, but my word, you just need it in your life. It's really beautiful. Now, again, loads of ideas. Look at that. So what the hardest thing is going to be choosing which colourway to, look at that, which colourway to choose from, which we've got for you today. So lots of ideas, lots of inspiration. Oh, yeah, no, see, that's always been one of my favourites. This is the one that we're working on from today. So this is where Lucy's drawn her inspiration. There it is. There it is. Now that's one of our options today. Fabulous. Should we have a look at that option? We'll take a closer look at that book later, but please do check that out in your basket. Lots of you already popped that in there. Now, here we go. This is really beautiful. Threads, of course. Oh, look how well they match. So, Amy Butler fabric, jelly roll strips here. Now, we have got 40 pieces of her jelly rolls, and if I show you that, then you can see the mauves and the greens. Just that gorgeous colourway in there. Now, Amy Butler, of course, she's renowned for all of her florals and things like that. But in here, you've also got a few little geometrics in there as well, which we can just start to see coming out in the quilt that Lucy's done. Now, we wanted to take the colour from there. So here we go, some of the designs from one of the blocks there. Just beautiful. So you've got that floral, but then you've got that contrast with the geometric. It's just beautiful. I'm just trying to think when I last saw this jelly roll. I can't actually remember, or if indeed that we ever have. Now, you've got your design roll, you've got 2 threads, but you're also getting 6.5 meters of fabric. It's a whopper, I tell you. It's a whopper. So 1/2 meter of that lovely teal. Now, what's its official name, Producer Paul? Marine blue. Yes. And then you're also getting 6 meters of your cream. Yeah. Do you want to see how much 6 meters is? Should we do we undo that now? Or we'll do that later. We'll do that. I'll show you that later. But it's a huge amount, sort of over here to over there. It's sometimes I can't visualize just how much. Like 6 meters, yeah, it's quite a lot, isn't it? Now over here, this is our other kit option. Now this has got the beautiful Joel Dewberry design roll that we've got for you. So again, 2.5 inch strips, and I think it's 40 on here as well. Let me just spin that around so you can see those beautiful colours. Now, because this, and I've worked with this a lot, and I absolutely love it and rate it beautifully, this is a very, very white. So what we've done is we've picked out the pink that goes there. That's your 1/2 meter, but then your 6 meters is our optical white, because that really then makes these designs really work beautifully. Now, this whole bundle with 6 meters of white, 1/2 meter there, so 6.5 meters of fabric, in addition to a beautiful design roll, and 2 threads, all in for £90.49. That's amazing value. Shall we see what Lucy's going to do with it? Yeah. Hello, Lucy. Hello. Happy Valentine's. Loving all that.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Are you romantic?
Yes, but all the time, not just one day.
No, don't pigeonhole yourself on just one day. No, absolutely. Now, this book has inspired you.
It has.
And what was the favourite bit of it?
I think there's so many projects in there that are just fantastic, and pre-cuts are so easy to use. You know, so it's really nice to have all those patterns available to you to decide what you want to make.
So actually, I mean, whilst we're doing the beautiful merry-go-round, it might be that, because this is the one that you drew your inspiration from.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
But it might be that actually you fancy giving some of the others a go if you've got the book. There you go. So just some beautiful ideas in there. And not all quilts either.
No, and lots of things that you'd be able to give as gifts or, you know, brighten up your home. And Brioni is a fabulous designer. She, you know, her patterns are brilliant and really easy to follow. So
now, we've made this slightly differently from in the book.
Slightly differently. I was using a different ruler.
Okay.
So I was going with a creative grids one. So my version is slightly different. It has slightly less spokes in it. And then obviously I've added just a little border to use more of the jelly roll as well.
So you get to see more of that jelly roll
Yeah.
through there. So you've got that beautiful designer fabric. Let's use it to the max. So this is the creative grid that has helped you with this.
Yes.
So this is the Starburst. This has many, many, many uses.
So many uses.
Can I show the other one?
Yeah.
Because a while ago, hang on. Ooh, there we go. You made this. Now this was from a Tilda show, wasn't it?
Yes.
And you grabbed it. This all of these blocks made using that ruler.
Yeah.
So once you've got the ruler, you've got all of these different inspirations that you can work your way through.
Yes, and
But beautiful.
There's quite a few that come in the instructions, and then you really can use your imagination and use it for lots of things. And I'm going to show you a different way of using it today as well, which is slightly rebellious, but you know.
Well,
that's
do you know
okay.
what? I'm sure that there will be lots of quilters at home that go, yeah, no, I do that.
Yeah.
I draw the inspiration from the book and then I do it my way.
Yes.
And that's what you've done.
It is what
My
I've done.
way.
My
Good.
way.
Okay, so what's the first thing we do?
So to start off with, I've sewn 3 of the strips of the jelly roll together.
Okay.
So just straightforward, the full width of the jelly roll. And then I'm going to use the ruler to cut pieces out. And I've turned it the other way because I want the floral to be the larger part. Yeah, you see less of the
geometric then.
other side. Yeah. So I've sewn these together. So this is 6.5, and then I'm just going to go ahead and cut. Now you can, if you want to, use them both ways and mix it up. So if you want to make you know, the most of your fabric, then that's what you'd do.
So then presumably along here you would have enough to then do 2, so that one could go one way and one could go the other.
Exactly. So in the pattern you're using all the pieces that are the same.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to, you could turn it round and have opposing.
I quite like that idea.
Ones,
or maybe you could always almost do a matching cushion. I love the idea of having a matching cushion.
I'm just going to budge it.
Yeah, no, you budge me out of the way. I'll just do the show from over here. It's fine.
So if you're going to cut all the, you know, you're going to be cutting them both ways, you want to make sure that you keep those together if you want them.
Yes.
You know, the
so
same.
then you've got all the geometrics down into the middle.
Yes. And if you didn't want to do that and you want to just have them going one way, you can do that. Obviously, you just cut them all from this side, and the waist in between, I'll just show you, will be slightly less. So if I go ahead and cut the next one. Oh, I forgot to cut it the other way. Hang on.
And it's looking slightly larger.
Yes.
Oh, so it goes right
so
to
then
a
you
point.
can see, yeah, so I'm wanting this shape, but I couldn't then use that in the same way because it's just slightly smaller.
No, look, you see it's skinnier there.
Yeah.
So there we go. So that one you couldn't use. So just be careful about, if you want to get the most from your fabric, then cut one way, one the other, and then you can do that. That is not appropriate to be used.
Exactly, because you wouldn't see as, you know, you'll lose some of this in
it'll
the
end up
end.
being smaller,
So
won't it?
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm just going to keep cutting those. I need 6.
Already loving these designs.
Yeah,
The
they
colours
are beautiful.
are gorgeous, and this has been one of my favourite design rolls for a long time.
Yes, mine too.
So
I really like the geometrics.
Well, Joel Dewberry
this
was a graphic designer first, and he's very, very well revered by his peers. Actually, that's what really comes across, is that actually other people within the industry really rate him.
Yes.
And I think that with his geometrics, you see, you see that graphic design element come through, but then he gives you some gorgeous florals.
Yeah, and those bold, you know, how it's so punchy, but it's sort of got a traditional element to it as well. I can see like a William Morris influence in that print, which I love. My house is covered in it.
Just there, beautiful.
So pretty, and the shape of those leaves is beautiful. So already you can see that's how it's going to come together. So then what I've done is I want to make this block bigger, okay? So using this ruler, it goes up to a 7.5 inch, or with a point, I think it's 9 3/4. So this ruler sort of, you know, you're working within those measurements. So the block sizes are going to be more similar to the Tilda one, although you can make them slightly larger. But I wanted to go even bigger. So what I've done is used another Creative Grids ruler to just...
You don't care, do you? It's getting another allowance.
Yeah, to extend this one, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to take my larger ruler...
Oh, just a discreet one.
Just a discreet one. And then what I'm doing is I need to add to this.
Oh, so you're putting like an extension onto the end.
Yes, so this is the piece that I need to add.
Okay.
Okay? To get the background, so it looks like it's floating.
So what you're going to do is put an extension onto that bit.
Yes.
It's like adding the ice cream onto the cone.
Yeah.
Oh, like that.
Like
there you
that.
go. Oh, hang on, no, it's like the tip of the mountain, isn't it? And then you've got to do the mountain.
Yeah, which now makes that piece look very small.
It does, doesn't it?
But
and yet beautifully
it will all
formed.
make sense in the end. Yeah. So in order to do that, I have to elongate the angle of the ruler.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to use 2 at the same time. So imagine this is just a long strip, and I hadn't already cut it. And this I cut at 13 inches. So this was a 13-inch strip from the full width of the fabric.
Okay.
And then what I'm going to do is place this ruler on top of the other one to get that angle.
Okay.
Okay. So because the Creative Grids rulers have that inbuilt grip, you can then just hold it in place. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can whip that one out of the way, or you can just
presumably
hold it in
you
place.
could use a pen and mark.
Yes.
And then put that back in place.
So it's up to you how you want to do it, but you need to make sure that it's following the complete angle. So right the way down to the bottom of the ruler. If you just do it from there, you could be going skew-whiffy. So just lining that up so you can get that longer cut.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, simple as.
I could do that.
That's it.
So you've done that both sides,
So
and that's where we've got
yes,
that.
exactly. So I was doing that, I was measuring that from the bottom at 6.5. Okay.
Yeah.
So
because that's your finishing point.
There. Yes, exactly.
Right.
So you want those to match, so you can just sew across there. Okay. So now what I need to do is attach the ends to all of those. So I'm just going to chain piece it and attach some of these. So I need 6 to go at the ends, and then I need 6 to go in between. So these shapes that I've just cut become the background pieces there and the ends here.
Oh, so they're doing a lot of work.
They're doing a lot of work, yeah. But look how big, you know, it's bigger than the ruler. So that's a great way, you know, if you have a smaller triangle, say, but you want it bigger, to use 2 rulers in conjunction with each other.
Top tip.
Yeah.
Well, because otherwise you'd have to buy a whole new ruler. But
Well,
you know,
it's
likely
it's making the most of them. Yeah. And there's so many beautiful star designs that you can create with this, but you might want it bigger, so that would be a way.
Well, you could, because you could then have your star as the central point of your quilt.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a technical quilting term.
I like it.
Ruth in Somerset says, producer Paul, no! Don't let Natasha unfold the 6 meters. She'll never be able to put it back again tidily. Ruth, I'm going to do it. Right, challenge accepted, Ruth. Challenge accepted. I don't know if that was a challenge. That was more just a don't let her. Do not let her. I'm going to need help anyway. Now, if I give this to Lucy, and I think that floor manager Chris was primed that, oh, I can't even find the end. So how can I get it in a knot before I've even started? Oh, there you go, I've got both ends. That's why. There you go. You grab one of those.
Okay.
I bet they didn't get in this much of a knot in the old
not even room,
advert, did they? Well, this is where we'll see if the floor was cleaned this morning, won't it?
Which way are you holding it?
There. Hang on. Keep going, Lucy.
Okay.
Keep going. There's more. There's more. There's more. Oh, Ruth, you've unleashed a beast. Look at this. We haven't even got a wide enough shot. Keep going, Lucy. I've got a bit more here. Da-da-da. Keep going. Keep going.
I can't go any further.
Hang on. There's the end of it. That is what 6 meters look like in one continuous roll. Bear in mind this is folded in half this way, so you're getting. That's a big fairground, right? That's a big merry-go-round. This is coming in your kit along with a full designer roll cut to 2.5 inches plus another ½ meter of beautiful fabric. No, just, yeah, just, good Lord. Chris? Chris has got long arms. He's a big rugby playing chap, isn't he? Our floor manager. He'll help, right? You see, Ruth, no one will ever notice just how it was, right? No one will ever know. No one will ever know. It's all good.
It is huge, isn't it?
Enormous. Massive. You might need a friend to help you roll that back up when you get it and start unravelling. Did you cut yours? I mean, in all honesty, I mean, it is a huge amount. Did you have a friend help?
No, I don't need a friend to help. I'm used to it.
Oh, just me then. So another fun day over at Natasha's house, folding fabric. We have all the fun.
I'm terrible at folding now. I can cut it fine and then.
That's all right, it's less need to fold then, isn't there?
Yes.
And now in your kit, you will get this with optical white. Lucy's using the cream, but you will get an optical white in yours, which will really help it go pop.
It will.
Yes.
And the white matches beautifully.
Oh, it does.
With a lot of the backgrounds in the jaw.
But in the interest of not wasting fabric.
Yeah, I'm just using.
We went with the rest of
using what I had.
From these.
Yeah. Yeah.
So chain piece. I'm happy with chain piecing. That's a comfort zone for me. I'm good with that.
Yeah. It's really, really simple, and I think what I like about designs like this is it looks ever so complicated, but actually when it's just straight sewing, you know, it keeps it really easy and doable. So that's my cheek.
Bunting.
Yeah.
There we go. Lovely.
I like that. Like
Chris
flags.
is in with his big long arms. There you go, Chris. I've left you a little something on the side.
Is the iron on? I didn't check that.
In a moment, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Marvellous. Should have checked that, sorry.
That's right.
So these then become the centre, obviously. And I've cut this with a lot extra, and it will become clear as I'm sewing it together as to why.
Poor Chris looks like he's going off to get married with a great long veil as he drags the 6 meters out the studio to refold.
And I've just realised I should have cut this the other way, not on the 6.5, so I'm just going to have to redo that because obviously we want those thinner.
From the start.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was for those pieces, and I haven't cut the other ones, so I'm just going to do that very quickly. So we need 6 that are cut.
Wait, are you going to just pile
the
them up loose?
Yeah, I'll just pile them up.
Yeah, that's fine. Whilst you do that, we've got an email. Let's have a look. So this is an email from Lynn. She says, morning, Natasha. Oh, look at this. Love watching Sewing Quarter. Really makes my day. Enjoying seeing all the different quilt patterns. Made this quilt for my mum as she turned 80 this month. She looks thrilled with it.
Oh, that's so lovely.
Really beautiful. I love those rich, warm tones. Clever bunch out there.
Beautiful. You're
Thank
so
you.
clever.
Thank you ever so much, Lynn.
We love seeing them, and I hope she had a happy birthday. Sure she did.
Sorry?
I hope she had a happy birthday, her mum.
Yeah, no, 80 is a good one.
So I'm just going to do exactly the same thing that I did before.
Yeah. Well, that's good. We get to see it again.
Yeah, you don't really want to wing it. Do you know what I mean? When you go, because sometimes when you're cutting, you can cut the bit you need and then just sort of carry on. But obviously we want that nice and precise when we come to put that together.
Yes, as Victoria said last show, it is a precise science.
It is.
Yes. Now, if you would like the Joel Dewberry by itself, just on its own, just, you know, then you can do with it as you wish. 40 pieces in there, $44.99. And they are the full length, selvage to selvage, so about 44 inches. Nice. I love this one. We've used this one a lot, and for good reason. Now we've got a different Amy Butler one here. Now this has got a lovely mix of geometrics, and it also has a lot of florals in here. Again, this is another lovely one that I've used. I've used quite a lot, actually, this one.
That's one of my favourites as well.
Yeah, I use this to make a whole load of flowers for a project.
I love this geometric, and that toffee, you know, that caramel toffee colour is just so gorgeous. Beautiful.
Well, that's just it. That's got one of my all-time favourite fabrics in there, which is the It Takes Two, which we've got on the next show. Can't wait. So Amy Butler, always a fan. Hey, and one last one here. If you want all the colours, if you want basically a rainbow in geometric loveliness, then the Heather Bailey, it helps if I get it run the right way. The Heather Bailey True Colours, and if you've got any of her Hello Love range, then these colours slot in beautifully with that. So if you bought any of those, you remember the ones that were inspired by the Beatles songs? If you had any of those, then these colours sit beautifully in there. And this is a limited one, so we've only got a few of these left, so if you want this, you need to get in quick with it. It's $52.99, just so that you know. If I don't tell you, look at you.
Yeah, I made a quilt with that one.
Did you?
Yeah, and I love it because it's so vibrant. It's absolutely beautiful.
It's got to be about the colour.
Yeah.
Love the colour.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All three are gorgeous.
You'd like the iron now, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's okay. I can get by.
Or am I doing it?
I can get by. Well, you could do these ones for me. That would be nice. And I'll just explain how I'm going to piece it together. So when it comes to piecing it...
Which way do I press?
Towards the fabric. Towards the print, rather.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all fabric.
I know it's all fabric. I don't know what I'm talking about today.
Don't know.
It's still too early.
There's so many ways I could get this wrong. That way, towards the centre.
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah. Only because we're working with the paler colour. So, I mean, it's much of a muchness. It doesn't really matter.
Tim says, what's the problem, Tasha? It was a perfectly clear instruction.
Yeah, towards the fabric.
Yeah.
That's such a clear instruction.
You can't go wrong. You actually can't go wrong with that instruction.
Sorry. Do you want to do those two?
Yeah,
okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm making up two sets, like two sections of the block, if you will. Okay, so one has two of the pinwheels and one plain, and the other one has two of the plain and one of the pinwheels.
So opposites.
So opposite. So I'm making two each of both of those, and that's what's going to help it come together.
Lucy, I've got a maths question for you.
Yes.
Thanks, Pat, for this. Lucy's going to love this one. Hi, everyone. How many jelly rolls would you want to make a king-size quilt, please?
It's a very difficult question to answer, Pat, because it depends what design, what pattern.
Okay.
The quilt in the book for this one's larger.
Right.
So you'd end up with a larger quilt. I've just done a slightly smaller version, just as an example.
How long is a piece of string? What design
really,
are you going to
really
do?
difficult to say.
Which design, Pat, were you after? I think that's the key here.
If it was this one, I would probably go for two.
Really?
Because you would probably even have a little bit left over. You're not using massive quantities to get because you've got quite a lot of the back. It's more background, really, than it is jelly roll.
Well, that's why we popped 6 meters of just the background fabric in.
Yes. I mean, I still had a lot of strips left over, obviously, for only just that size. So I would say 2 if it was this pattern.
Right.
And you may have a little bit left over, but it just depends how you want to do it and if you want to have borders and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, because you're using up quite a lot of strippage
if you were going to put
sashing.
Yeah, if you were going to do that, you would need more. But if it was just going to be for the wheels, the merry-go-rounds, whatever they are.
The happy bits.
The happy bits.
Yeah.
You're not actually using
that
as much as you might think. Each block is only 3 strips And you can see I still had
some left over.
I still had some left over, and I cut other pieces for the other side. So you could probably get 2 blocks from each strip of 3.
Okay.
And there's
so
40,
if you, so you've got 40 strips there. So Pat, basically, if you were prepared to do your binding and your outside sashing in a like a flat, a plain colour or something like that, then you'd only need one. But if you wanted that, go for an extra one. Top up your order.
Yeah.
That fair?
Definitely. Yep, that's
there you
fair.
go. You get there in the end.
Okay, so I'm going to sew these bits together. So I'm literally just right sides together, sewing them. You just want to keep track that you're making 2 of this and 2 of this.
Okay.
So that it comes together.
You don't want me to press that first?
I'm all right.
She's a rebel.
I've finger pressed
She's
it. It'll be okay.
She's finger pressed
Such a rebel.
Now, all of this order comes to you for 1p&p. It's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
$2.95 to get 6.5 meters of fabric and a design strip and two threads. If it's your first order with us ever, of course, you've gone over your £20 mark, in which case you get 8 extra free fat quarters and cutting that, which is awesome.
It's fantastic.
That's for today only, by the way. That's just a little bit of extra sewing quarter love coming in your direction for newbies.
Okay, so then once you've sewn that, you want to press that with the seam going away because you don't want to fold it back on itself.
Away from the fabric.
You don't want it going back on itself because it creates too much bulk, so you just want to press it
to the way.
To the way, yes.
Yeah.
So, doing well with the instructions
You
today.
know what? Clear as anything.
Just watch me, don't listen to me.
And there are full instructions in the book.
Yeah, that's probably far better. So in the book, it does use a different rule, and that's why the angles are slightly different. But I've used the starburst because it's so fun. And I think it's nice that you can do so much with it.
Well, the starburst gives you so many more options. In fact, let me show you the book first. Now, we only have limited amounts of the book, so if you've got the book in your trolley, please do check that out. Now then, I've just marked a few other pages that I really like in here. So there's your starburst. I just think it's beautiful. There's a simplicity about it that's just, it's satisfying. And yes, it's called merry-go-round, but I think starburst. I'm with you on a lovely starburst or a sunburst. But then the book also has other different projects. So there are, look at that, quilt your own bath mat. Step-by-step instructions. Half the stock of the book has gone, by the way. So I want to give that one a go. I think that's lovely. But then also, look at that. Look at that. Look at the detailing on there. And just the texture that you're getting. And that makes a gorgeous bag. So you've got all sorts in here. And what was the other one that I liked? Oh, yeah, because so many people are doing a bit of English paper piecing, I've discovered, since I put up a picture of mine up on social. And so you've got different ideas, because so many people are like, I've just started doing a little bit of EPP, not quite sure what I'm going to make. Well, you've got ideas in here that don't require huge amounts. So you just give it a quick go. And it's just a really lovely book, but like I say, half of the stock has already gone of that. So please check out your baskets. And that's people who've already checked out their baskets and made sure, yes, I'm getting that today. Now, Lucy, you mentioned the Starburst ruler, which is the one that we've been using today.
Yes.
But you've also used that to create, and I haven't got this under lots of fabric this time, so I can just, that gorgeous piece of loveliness. Isn't that stunning? So, which just shows the versatility of one ruler.
Yeah, absolutely, because that looks complicated, all those angles and all those different bits, but it's not. It's ever so easy to use. And it's got a lot of extra lines on it that you use to create the different effects. But again, the ruler comes with the instructions, really easy to follow.
That's your ruler. I've got the instructions in my hand. When you get yours, it'll probably look a bit like that. Don't think that's packaging and throw it away. That would be a sad mistake to make. It's not. This is your instructions as to how to best use that ruler. Look at that. And it also gives you, straight away, oh, look, there are 3 different designs straight away that I can use. Happy days.
And once I would, if you go ahead and get the ruler. I would follow those instructions to make whichever of those blocks you like.
Yes.
Because that gives you a really good idea of how you're working with the ruler. And then once you've got the principle of it, you can go ahead and use it in so many other ways.
Know the rules to then know what to break.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And so I go ahead and break them all the time.
Do it. Do it.
So another tip is when you're piecing like this and you've got points in the centre, you need to reduce the bulk because you've got a lot of seams on the back that make it bulky.
There's a lot going on, isn't there?
Yeah, so where these meet, you know, right now it's not too bad, but we're going to be adding 3 other sections to this. So what you want to do is take the seam and just clip, not just the very end, but, you know, going towards the end, graduate it down towards the centre so that you're getting rid of some of that bulk. And you can do that on both seams. But I should have done it before I sewed it. Right. But just to help reduce that bulk there so that that's going to lay nice and flat. Now, what's really nice about this pattern is we're covering up the centre anyway with a hexagon. Nice. So you don't need to worry about points matching or anything, unless you want to.
Yes.
Because you can be precise with it because the template allows you to do that.
I do a lot of paper crafting. If in doubt, whack a flower over it.
Yes.
It's fine. Or a button.
A button.
So yeah, you can always get around it. But in this case, happily, you've got a hexagon in the middle of it. Happy days.
Yes.
So this is actually quite a nice, gentle make, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and it. I love things like this where you put it together and then it's only at the very end that you really see the sort of drama of it. You know, it's very easy to piece, but then you've got a dramatic finish.
It's a very good description of it, the drama of it.
Yeah.
Now this is the one on the back here has got the Heather Bailey bundle. Now, we've put the cream fabric background in there, but I just wanted to show you some of these. There you go. Just how beautiful that is. This is your Amy Butler one. So we haven't really focused very much on the Amy Butler, but look at these colourways. They're just exquisite. Amy Butler, the details are just there, but her floral work is just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I do really, I love that peacock colourway in there.
Yeah. It's ever so rich.
Yes.
And I love, one of my favourites is this. I've used it, it's 2 different colourways of the same print here. And it just has a slight, and the same with that one, it has a slightly oriental feel to it, which I really love. And then you've got the birds.
So there's a texture of a reality in there with a line drawn and everything. But this is the kit. Now remember, you're getting 6.5 metres of fabric before you even start on the fact that you've got a 40-piece jelly roll in there. Do you want to see what 6.5 metres with 6 metres looks like? There you go. See, you can't even see me. That's not a bad thing, is it? Hidden. You could have just wrapped me up like a big mummy. That would have kept me quiet, wouldn't it? I have to say, if we could... Floor manager Chris has done a cracking job folding that all up so that you would never know.
That you'd done it. No, you wouldn't.
Never know.
You would never know. So those are my 2 sections, and that makes up half of the block.
Oh, nice.
So I'm just going to repeat that.
We're already at half.
Yeah, so I'm just going to repeat that and make up the other 2, and then we can start to fit it
whilst you
together.
repeat, I'm going to go look at the kits.
Okay.
I might not unravel 6 metres of fabric. Or I might. I don't know. Depends how I'm feeling. Amy Butler first. This one. Now, here we go. So you get this beautiful 1/2 metre of the marine blue. What is that for? Is that for the binding? Lucy? Oh, that's for the hexagons in the middle. Ah, okay. So that's your hexagon fabric, which look, you can just see how well those go. Isn't that perfect? In fact, even if I do it like that, that's why it reminds me of kind of rich, jewel-like peacock colours. I think this is exquisite. I absolutely adore it. Now, you're also getting a whole 6 metres of the cream there. Just beautiful, that cream. And then on top of that, look, the threads match it all beautifully. Can't ask for more than that, can you? Look at that, 92.99. Now, you are getting all of that in the kit. So all of that, that's 6 meters there, plus your half, it comes like that, not chopped up into little bits, as that, and you'll also get your ½ meter of your marine blue and your design roll on top of that and your matching threads. I mean, this is a whopper. It's an absolute whopper, but it's a beautiful one. Absolute beautiful one. Now, the Joel Dewberry, I've always struggled with that name. Can't put my teeth in for it. This is the one that we're making at the moment. Now, Lucy's used a cream, but what you're getting in the kit, we've matched that white perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. And also, those hexagons are going to be in this lovely pink here, which works all the way through this. So this, you've got some vibrant yellows, purples, turquoises, and you've got some greys in there. It's a lovely burst of colour. Geometric, and as Lucy said, you know, that hints of sort of William Morris-esque in some of the designs. It's just stunning. Beautiful. I've made a mess. Says Director Tim, I'm always making a mess. There you go, there's your bundle, £90 and 49 pence. Now, what we've also done for you, and I'm going to go and see that in just one moment, is we've also put together backing fabric for you. So if you are going to make the full whopping great big quilt, well, I'll come and show you. That's the easiest way to do it, isn't it? So, sorry, Lucy, I'm just going to borrow this for a moment. What we've bundled here is the backing fabric for the merry-go-round. So if you would like to get a queen size piece of batting, wadding, I mean, it's called batting because it's an American company, wadding. Now this is warm and natural, which I absolutely love. So it's predominantly cotton, and it's needled, it's soft, it's warm, it's beautiful to use, absolutely stunning. But we've also put in there with it 5 meters of mint. Absolutely, I'm not allowed to unravel that. My unravelling moment has been and gone.
And I went rogue as well, clearly, and used the backing as the background.
Yes, you did.
I did.
That's why. Ah, see. I did wonder where you got that green from.
Yeah, I just got confused.
So
but it works. It's got cream on the back.
Oh, so you got the cream there. So that's how Lucy's done hers. She's gone, yeah, I see that backing fabric. I'm just going to use it everywhere.
Yeah.
Front, back. So you'll get the cream with your Amy Butler. It's up to you, isn't it? If you decide to buy the backing as well. You pick whichever you want.
Well, they both work.
Yeah, happy days.
I think the green would work with the Joel Dewberry as well if you want to.
Always a design choice.
Yes.
Would you like me to press that?
Well.
Oh, Cheryl, the book from the last hour sold out, sorry. It's that fastest finger wins, isn't it? Check out, check out, check out.
So now that's
take that out your
the
way.
block.
There you go.
Okay. So that's in quarters, obviously. So we're just going to sew this together. Now, if you wanted to be really precise and get the centres perfect, you definitely need to pin. You could even baste it and then sew it because you've got a lot of precise points there. But you can see how you've got room in your seam allowance beyond the points of the tip, so you wouldn't lose your points. But you know, obviously fabric shifts and you sew things differently. Whacking a hexagon on it, so it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to go for it and just
do that.
Sew. So what I do want to try and do is match up the seams, so at least the, you know, the lines are going to be running nice and smoothly. But beyond that, you can.
Can we do this in 15 minutes?
Go ahead and sew it. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I'm
Confident.
About to.
Confidence.
She says. I know. Oh, and you have got quite a lot of bulk in, you know, in that centre, even when you've trimmed it back. So you just need to be careful when you get started.
Oh, we've got a message from Adele in the West Midlands. It's not our Adele. Is it our Adele? Oh, hello. Adele, you're on holiday, love. What are you doing? She says, hi, ladies. This is Adele. Hi, Adele. I'm watching you with my niece. Well, hello, niece. Oh, Megan. Oh, she's got a name. That's good. Hello, Megan.
Hi, Megan.
Hello. Would you say a big hello to her for me? Yes, Adele. I mean, I'll get my words out at some point. Megan, hello. Wasn't your artwork hard? She's put all this together. It's all her work. So you give her a big pat on the back, Megan, and we'll say a big hello to you. Hello. It's half term, isn't it, for some?
For some.
Yeah.
Not mine.
No, not mine.
They're at school. So if you could press that one for
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
that
yeah.
seam, just whatever way it wants to go is fine.
Whichever way it feels like.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Now, would you batch make these?
Yes, I would do all this, you know, sew all the jelly roll strips together, cut them all out, attach all the ends. I would do it all as I'm going along rather than block by block. Although if it's your first time doing it, you could just make one block so that you get a feel for it and then go ahead
And then go crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, it's a bit like with Adele and her niece watching, it's a bit like work experience, isn't it, for Megan? Because I bet you Adele's going, oh, I do this, and then my job is to put this bundle together and work out what colour goes with what, and then to send it out.
And she'll be shouting at me for using the background. Sorry, Adele.
It's all good. It's all good.
She's going, we spent all that time discussing it.
And then you just go rogue.
Do you mind? Thank you.
That's
and then
the
I just go
rebel
rogue.
that you are.
I am such a rebel.
There's no quilting police. Just Adele, it's fine.
So you can see my points aren't meeting on that one perfectly, but it's fine.
There we go.
That's lovely.
There it
That'll
is.
work. Thank you.
But it's okay, because happily, it's achievable because we're going to whack a hexagon over there. No one will ever know.
No, I mean, that one's not too bad.
That looks
that
great.
would be passable.
Oh, you see,
Those
this is
two
it.
there. And then that's your seam
Yes,
as you sew the two together like that one.
yes. For me, I'd be happy with that anyway, but because you're a pro, you have better standards.
Yeah, I mean, if I wanted all my points to match, I'd be really
Pinning.
concentrating and
Yes.
pinning everything. And then when it comes to the centre, obviously, you've got a lot of points there in the centre.
That's a lot to go through, actually, isn't it?
It is a lot, yeah. So even though I'm not concerned about them meeting, I'm still just going to pin that because I want that central seam to run,
Yes.
you know, all the way down.
No, of
So
course.
I'm just going to pin that bit. But I am doing this very free-form, improvisational style.
It's just the way you roll.
Yes, how I roll.
Oh, no. What day is it? Wednesday.
Yeah. So I'll sew this last seam and then you'll understand why some of the bits are longer than the other bits.
Okay.
It will make sense.
If you need any hints and tips and you're grabbing the book today, then there are 8 of these left. So you're going to have to get a wriggle on. I mean, we've already given out a message for someone who was trying to buy the book from last hour. That already went. And this will go the same. So 25 ways to sew jelly rolls. We're not just talking about quilts. If I show you on the back, it gives you a good idea of other things that you can do. I want to make that cushion. Can we do that on Adele, if you're still watching, can we do that cushion on a show as well, please? Because I really like that one too. So this is how we plan shows, clearly. Adele, I love that, please, can we do that? But there are lots of different ideas in here, not just quilts, all sorts. Because sometimes, if you're doing a big quilt, you might need to have a little something on the go. You see, look, this is another one. Look at that. Do you think that cushion, hang on, was that cushion just like a part of that? Oh, I see all sorts of, you know when you squint, you see all sorts of different designs in there.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. What she's really good at is going through lots of different techniques. You know, so it's a book that might challenge you if there are certain elements of quilting that you've not done before. Full-size templates, which are always so useful.
I want to do this one.
And the designs are just gorgeous. That's so pretty.
And that's one we're doing. Yeah, look at that. Just beautiful. So this is the one that we're doing today. Lots of you buying the bundles, buying the book. You know, you want that inspiration, that's absolutely fine. But, like I say, fewer than 10 of these left, so please pop them in your basket and check out. It's the only way to make sure you definitely get it.
Okay, so here's where the magic happens. So I haven't pressed that, but imagine that's had a good press.
Okay.
Okay. And then what having these longer bits allows us to do is position the ruler if I get the giant ruler.
Love this ruler.
And then we can square it up.
This is our 20.5-inch ruler. I do have this one at home, and I absolutely adore it. I use it for so many different things.
It's fantastic, because trying to do this with a smaller ruler is you know.
It will be more challenging.
It's tricky. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this. And what you can do is you can move it round. I didn't really show that, you know, so you can angle it in different ways. So I've lined that up with the seam, but you wouldn't have to. You can move it round to get different looks. So it's not going to be quite that big. It would be 18 inches.
Okay.
So I can have them at different angles. They don't all have to be the same.
Very nice.
Which is just fun. Just watch your hands there, Natasha.
Oh, Patricia in Oxfordshire says, good morning, Natasha and Lucy. Could you tell me how big the cutting mat you're using is? Thanks, says Tricia. Tricia 12s.
23
it is
by 35.
It's an A1. It's an A1 cutting mat. It's the biggest size cutting mat that we do. And I wouldn't be without mine, because that is down on my worktop always. It doesn't come off at all. It's there.
And I put mine, I have an even, do I have, no, it must be that size. And I put it underneath my machine as well, because when I'm going really, really full force, it vibrates a lot.
Oh, okay.
So it's a nice
Does that
base.
absorb the vibration a bit?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's fantastic.
Patricia, if you're after anything like that, go to our website, go to shop, and you'll see all of that there, and there'll be cutting mats and all of that kind of thing. But it's on the website for you. That's the very same, $39.99. So head to shop, go down to cutting mats, and then all of our, we've got some lovely colours in there. But if you're after this size, then there it is. Ta-da! Pop it in your basket and it will come your way. Wrong.
Okay, so then we need a hexagon for the centre. Now, in the pattern, because she used a different angled ruler, there was a hole in the centre, like you'd have with a Dresden.
Oh, right, yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So then when she put the hexagon, that's just covering up that hole. So obviously, because I've got all those points in there, I've still used the hexagon in the same way, but then I cut out the back.
Could you do a smaller hexagon then, just to...
Yes, you can do a smaller hexagon. All I've done is trace the one that was in the book and cut it out of paper.
Okay, so you made your own pattern.
Yeah, and then what I thought I'd do is just use up some more of this jelly roll, words, Lucy, and create like a half hexagon instead.
Oh, look, I see what you're doing. Hello, beautiful, beautiful.
So I've just lined up the points roughly with the seam line.
That's your seam line going across there. So there's your point, seamless.
That's it. So I wouldn't advise doing this like right in the middle if you don't want to waste fabric.
Oh, are you adding a seam allowance onto that?
Yes, so I'm adding a seam allowance onto the hexagon.
So almost like it was English paper pieced.
It is.
Oh, it is. Oh, there you go. Spot on.
It is. So then you've got two options. You can either thread based, which is what she does in the pattern and what I did.
That's your traditional way, isn't it?
Or you could glue. So that becomes my hexagon.
Beautiful.
So if you just wanted something a little bit different, if you didn't want to use the solid, you know, we've got that beautiful pink that goes with this bundle. But this is a nice way of using up your ends. And I think it would be nice to mix them.
Yes.
So have some that with a solid pink and then some using up strips of the jelly roll. Excuse me. And what you could actually do is make one with another fabric and then add that.
Oh, yes, you have that contrast.
So you'd have a contrast then.
So by the time that you've English paper pieces, so you get your, no, so you're glue basting. This is my preferred choice. I could sit in an evening and just.
Yeah.
My record is 260 in a night.
Is it?
Yeah.
Gosh, that is quite a lot.
4
so
minutes.
you can either draw onto the paper or dab onto the fabric. I prefer to dab onto the fabric, and I don't know why. I just do.
Oh, no,
yeah.
I'm a paper
Because I
dabber.
like to get the corners, so I always just put a little dab in the corner and then just dot along the fabric. And it just makes it so quick and easy to do. But we are taking the paper out.
Yeah, and that doesn't stay in.
So it doesn't stay in. So for something like this, if you've not got a lot to do, thread basting is easy because you just pull that out, but it's whichever way, they both work.
Oh no, I am a absolute.
I'm a gluer.
Yeah.
It's just time saving. It just saves so much time. So that's your hexie, and then you can go ahead and give that a press.
Yep.
Thank you.
That also helps speed up the glue drying time.
That sounded like an order. I didn't mean.
No. Happy to help.
And then we're just going to peel the
You've got 3
edges
minutes.
off and take the paper out. Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, careful because that's hot.
Yeah.
We need those little silicone finger things.
I know, yeah. So you just peel back the fabric from the paper, and you can still reuse the paper.
Yes. My husband said to me the other day, because he was watching me sew my first EPP project, and he said, so what happens when you wash it? I said, what do you mean? He said, well, won't the paper all go funny when you wash it? I said, no, I take the paper out.
I do know of people that have left papers in, but it's really, obviously, not a very good idea.
Not if you want to wash it. Do you want me to just press that again very quickly for you?
Well, no, it'll be fine. I'm just going to go ahead and glue it.
I'm getting overexcited with the iron this morning.
So I'm just putting a bit of glue on the seam, and you can pin this if you want to, but again, it's just a quick and easy way of attaching this. So then you're just going to position it where you want it. So you can, in the pattern, and as I've done with the quilt, is have the points going
so they're
through
nice.
the centre there. So you just position that into place.
Yep.
Probably didn't use quite enough glue, but there we go.
But that's just basted, isn't it? And then
yeah, it's just basted, and then we're going to stitch that down. So you could use a decorative stitch if you want to, but there's no need because you've not got any raw edges.
Okay.
So that's why we've done it like the English paper piecing, so you can literally just top stitch that down. So I'll mega quick do this very unneatly.
It's all done for speed here, so you can see. Take your time at home. Get it absolutely just so, because you're going to have this quilt a lifetime. It's just so beautiful. And the colours, of course, just gorgeous. We've used the Joel Dewberry. It comes with a white backing fabric, which will really make those colours pop. But we didn't want to cut into another 6 metres of fabric, so you have to excuse us. We've gone with the cream. But you will get the white, which works absolutely beautifully with it.
Yeah.
See, we're frugalising with our fabric. That's now a word. It is? Well, my word it is.
Okay, so this isn't very neat.
That's all right.
But it gives you
for speed. It's
a
just to give you an
clue.
idea.
Yeah. And that's going to hold really, really nicely. And there's no raw edges to worry about. Nothing's going to, you know, come undone. But the way I've done it, obviously I've got all this bulk here. So what I want to do is cut this section out. So being careful not to cut the front.
What? Hang on, you're actually just cutting it.
Just cutting into it.
Hang on, this is a bit risky. Careful not to cut through your hexagon at the front.
I know. I'm going to try. I think I'm safe.
I don't know that I can bear to watch. No, I'm feeling a bit nervous for you.
So you can use, you know, duckbill scissors or...
Oh, we've got those on our 11 o'clock hour, haven't we?
Yeah, I'm going to be using them. But embroidery scissors will work. You just want to be ever so careful that you're not cutting. Oh, I hope I haven't. Cutting into the front. And you really don't need to trim it right the way back. You know, I've left a good big seam there because this isn't bulky. It's just that central part that has a lot of bulk in it. So then that's going to lay
flat beautifully. Yeah. And there it is. Gorgeous. Lucy, thank you. You're going to be back in an hour with another stunning make. Can't wait for this. And kind of like an applique masterclass, that's what I'm thinking. Yes. That's how I see it. In my head, I see it. Now, so thank you, Lucy. Amy Butler, that's the one that we've had behind us. Now, the Amy Butler comes with 6 meters of cream. That's a lot of cream. 6 meters of your cream fabric there. I'm not going to unravel it. Don't worry, Rita, I'm not going to unravel it again. And you also get 1/2 meter of that beautiful marine blue. That's for your hexagons, if you want to just do your hexagons just plain. But then you also get, and the colours in here are just, oh, they're sort of peacock-like and gorgeous. And that is your Amy Butler. And then you've got your matching threads, 2 lots of threads in there, all for $92.99. There we are. There's your 6 meters. Apparently it's only me that needs a friend to actually ravel that back up again. Right, the other option you'll see here. Now this is, if you're going for the Joel Dewberry, what you can see here is that we've matched that white in there, absolutely. So this bright white we've put with it, so that it's really going to make those colours pop. And then you've got that pink there, which we've managed to match there. So that pink will be your hexagons if you wish to go for your plain hexes in the middle. We've also, of course, given you threads to match, all in there, £90.49. That is a lot of fabric. Oh, Lorna, message for Lorna. The free gift. Here. Lorna, if this is your very first order, you have to spend over £20, okay? We like to give a free gift to anybody that's buying for the very first time, but today we've made it super special because it's Valentine's Day, so we want to feel the love. So there's your cutting mat, and there are your 8 fat quarters, and that's for brand new purchasers today. There you go. Now, the book, how are we doing on the book? We've got a handful left. Please check out your baskets for this. We haven't really, gone into detail with it, but it is just such a lovely book. Lots of different projects. I mean, look at that. For a cushion and a quilt combo. But so it's got that mix of, if you're working on a large project, say you're working on something huge like that, then you can also have some smaller projects on the go as well, which is really lovely. Now, after the break, Victoria Peat is back with, yes, one of my favourites, this gorgeous, bright, fabulous Pouffe.
Join us on Facebook. Simply search for The Sewing Quarter and like our page for the latest news and more.
Join us on Saturday the 17th of February when Jenny Smith returns with her classic Hepworth apron pattern. After selling out in just 20 minutes last time, we've got more stock and more ideas as Jenny shows us how to transform the apron into a dress. Choose from kits featuring linen in deep inky blue or rustic golden flax. Plus, we have a stylish array of denims and vintage cotton fabrics. Meet Jenny and discover the story behind this popular pattern. So tune in for this back in stock beauty Saturday the 17th of February at 9 AM only on Sewing Quarter, Freeview Channel 78 and Sky Channel 678.
Sewing Quarter is the UK's first TV channel dedicated to sewing and quilting. On air and behind the scenes, our team of top industry experts work hard to bring you tons of exciting projects. Whether you're into dressmaking, bag making, piecing, patchworking or quilting, you'll learn something new every day from our talented guest designers and fabulous presenters. Our online shop is packed with tools, haberdashery essentials and fabulous fabrics, from simple solids to designer gems. And with our 30-day money-back guarantee and single daily postage charge, you can shop with confidence. So tune in daily on Freeview 78, Sky Channel 678 and shop online at sewingquarter.com. Join us on Thursday the 15th of February when Lucy Brennan takes us over the rainbow with a glorious Technicolor quilt. Mixing 10 beautiful colours including turquoise, bright red, lime green and on-trend violet on a white background, this design from Love Patchwork and Quilting magazine is a modern classic. As we've thoughtfully put all the fabrics required into a handy kit, all you have to do is sit back and let Lucy share her tips and tricks for making it. So tune in for an hour of colourful quilting, Thursday the 15th of February at 10 AM, only on Sewing Quarter, Freeview Channel 78 and Sky Channel 678.
Hey, look at this. Look at this. I absolutely adore this. We've never brought you a project quite like this before, so I'm super excited for you. This is out of one of our magazines. I know, actually, having looked on Facebook, a lot of you have already had a go at this, put your own spin in it, your own take on it. But today what we've done is we've bundled some stunning fabrics for you. This has got Amy Butler in the middle there. You've got some Alison Glass here. But this is yeah, look at that, absolutely stunning. So the graphics for this one, the details for this one, utterly stunning. This is your Amy Butler It Takes Two. One of my all-time favourite. In fact, for my birthday, this was one of the fabrics that I chose for my birthday show last year. Look at that. You can see those peacocks. Just stunning. What an absolutely fabulous piece to have in your home. Brilliant. $39.99. Let me show you what you get for that. Full instructions to start off with, because, you know, that's going to help. You've got your thread. You've also got 3.5 meters of fabric. Let me show you those fabrics that you're getting. The stunning It Takes Two from Amy Butler. And then, of course, we had to find a blue that went with it, so we have. And then we've also got your Alison Glass fabric in there as well. And then, you know, let's just chill out all those beautiful colours with some lovely neutrals. And then we've also got your linear in there as well. All of that together, 3.5 meters. And do you know what else? Oh, not on this one. Not this one. Okay. So that is the kit. That's the fabric. Now, if you want it with the beanbag filling, then now I'm allowed the big reveal. Then basically your postman's going to look like Father Christmas with a great big sack of beanbag fill. So we only have limited stock of this. So if you're after exactly that kit with the Amy Butler fabric, exactly that, but you go, hang on, I don't have any beans, then this is the kit to go for with the beans. Postage is still the same, just $2.95, and then you get your beans as well. So you don't have to look elsewhere. You're going to be full of beans. $46.98. Okay. Now, this is the one that we're going to work from today. We've got some Dashwood fabrics here. Look at these little cheeky ones with the owls. Yeah. Now, this is with the beans. This is a full of beans kit. So this is your Rain Girl beanbag. Look at those beautiful mustards. And then we've taken the pink. We've found the pink that goes. And then we've also found, look, we've got that, matched that lovely teal in there. And then look at the depth of colour in that. I do love that indigo linear, beautiful, 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 which of course picks out the navy in that. Oh, it's just lovely. And if you want that with the beans, then that's $46.98. QLGC 22. So that's with it. But if you don't want the beans, you just want the fabric and the instructions and the thread, or basically all of this, 3.5 meters of fabric and instructions and thread, $39.99. Oh, yeah. I'm so excited to get making this. I can't wait. So there we go. That's that option. I've got one more option for you, ladies and gents. Oh, with the beans. Full of beans first. There you go. Beans. And this is the Adidas Sitar. Oh, I love her fabrics version. I'm heaven today with the fabrics. Just beautiful. So this is your Adidas Sitar. And again, 3.5 meters of fabric. It's that one. Look how gorgeous that is. But then you've also got that one which merges beautifully. And then we've put in a couple of plains that just work an absolute treat. Now, we are limited with the kits with beans. Because I would say we've never done it with beans before. So we didn't know, you know, if you were going to be full of beans or just go, hey, no, it's all right, I've already got beans. So I always have beans at home. So, you know, for me, I'd go without the beans. But if you want the beans, and then you don't have to find them in. Oh, wow, 5 of you have just added that into your order with the beans. Okay, this is going to be a busy show. Please check out your baskets. We brought you 10 of each with beans and then lots without beans. So without the beans, Adita Sitar here. I love this fabric. Oh, it's absolutely timeless and just beautiful and wonderful and just gorgeous. So if you just want the bundle with the instructions, then that is $35.99. I can't wait to get making. What am I taking with me?
Yes, take some, bring some instructions.
Oh, and the
go on, bring that as well.
Yeah.
Have a seat on it.
Room. Oh, just sit on it. It's too pretty to sit on. You can't sit on it. You had to wrestle your girls.
I did.
To actually be able to bring this.
No,
no,
no.
But really handy.
It is a really great size.
You know, Christmas, Easter, things like that, when all the relatives descend, you never have enough places to sit, do you?
Don't.
Stick your kids on a Pouffe, you're all fine.
Perfect. And nice for a little reading corner or something.
Yeah. And actually just to bring a big splash of colour in.
It is a great way of using really interesting fabrics in your home.
Any
conservatories. Just a cushion.
I actually had to put my feet up on that as well.
Yes, well, nice. Paul tried to, didn't he? Producer Paul. Ooh. Shoes were not clean enough for that.
Oh, he's a brave man.
So it's a nice project because it's a bit of home furnishing, but it's also learning some foundation paper piecing techniques.
Ah, that's how the top's done. Let me spin that around so you can see the top there. That is English paper pieced.
No,
foundation paper pieced. Sorry, I've got English paper piecing on the brain. Foundation paper pieced.
And it's a nice project for foundation paper piecing because it's once you get going, it's the same technique over and over again. So it's not too complicated. There are some angles, but the way that the pattern's been designed, it's not too tricky.
I just have to clarify something that producer Paul has just said to me. He said 8 of you have got that in your basket. So if everybody checks out, then that's gone. Do you mean the one with the beans? The one with the beans?
One with the beans.
You're slowly checking out, but...
I don't have beans at home. You saying you have beans at home? I don't have beans at home.
Only because I make my little bean baggy things, don't I? So I've always got beans at home. And also I put them in dog beds. But if you don't have beans at home, if you're not strange like me, then you're going to miss out if you don't check out. If you don't check out, you're going to miss out.
And the beans are nice.
A little song.
Because they're 2 different sized beans.
Oh,
big beans and little beans. So they sort of nestle in together. Because I think sometimes with beanbag filling, if it's all lots of big beans that are big, it gets like a cellulite-y kind of feel to it. But these, because they're large and small, they nestle in and create a smoother effect.
Nice. Oh, sold out. What sold out? Of that one? The one with the beans. The one with the beans of this one has sold out. Congratulations.
Wow.
Those of you that are, we're not even 10 minutes past.
I haven't even started.
No, it's okay because you can still get the fabric. You'd have to find your own beans.
That's fine. You can find beans.
Yeah, there's going to be lots of you missing out. This was a bit of an experiment, I'll be honest. It was an experiment this morning to see if you wanted beans. Now we know that...
Testing the waters.
You do.
Yes, please.
Yeah. But you can still get the fabrics. And then you can just stuff it with... And you might want to stuff it with other things.
Yes, you could do. Now, a good tip I saw the other day is you put children's soft toys in.
Yes.
Way of keeping those.
Has it got a zip though?
No, it doesn't have a zip. So you'd have to be a bit crafty and figure out how to put a zip in. But if you could do that, then you hide all your children's toys in it.
Nice.
Might be a bit lumpy, but it might solve the problem.
No, I've got another idea. Spare bedding.
Ah, that's a good idea. Yes.
Because it's got to go somewhere.
It really does.
Okay, right.
Okay.
But if you've got your beans,
101
well done.
uses.
If you haven't got your beans, we'll come up with some other ideas for you.
We'll keep thinking.
Yeah. Okay. Foundation paper piecing.
So, should we have a quick look at the instructions?
Oh, that's a great place to start.
Let's start there. So you've got a nice pretty picture on the front, and this was in Simply Sewing magazine. So some people might have seen it there. That's where I first saw it.
I've also seen some of our viewers have already given this a go.
Given it a go.
Yeah, which means
quick off the mark.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't wait.
So you've got that, and then you've got all of your instructions, step by step, and some pictures that go with it, and then you've got your template.
Ah, there it is.
It is essentially one template, but in order to get this star-type shape design, it's reversed. So you do need template A and template B.
Okay.
And we'll cover that off.
Okay.
So that gives you all of your instructions on what you need to be doing, including your cutting plans. What I would say though is just make sure that you only start off by cutting the strips for your foundation paper piecing. Leave the cutting of your side band and your base until after you've made your top.
Okay.
And then go to that.
All right, top tip. Listen to Victoria.
Yeah, we'll come to that later on, but just cut out your strips to begin with. So what I've done here is I've pieced a top for you, because it does take a while to do the foundation paper piecing. It's not overly complicated, but it takes a while. So I've pieced, the top is made from 12 different pie segments, let's call them. 6 facing one way and 6 facing the other way. So I've done 6 at the top here that I've joined together.
Yep.
And then I've done 1 pair here that I've joined so that you can see them. There's 2 more that this is what they'll look like when they're finished, and then the 2 paper ones that I haven't started yet.
It's like Trivial Pursuits, isn't it?
It is like Trivial Pursuits,
little pie slots,
but more fashionable.
And less family arguments over answers.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not playing. I don't know the answers.
I just want to get the kids' edition. I might stand a chance.
So what I've done is I've photocopied the page with the templates on, because I played around with the fabric and decided which order they go in. For this particular kit, the kit that's sold out with the beans, it's the linear and the what was it called? It takes 2.
It takes the Amy Butler. It takes 2
on the sides.
Is your central one and your round one. You can still get this, by the way, but just without the beans. So that's your Amy Butler. It takes 2, and that's going to be your round the edge fabric. Then you see this linear on the edge here. This lovely linear here. Oh, hang on, it helps if I... Come on, beans, work with me here. Oh, there you go. Got it on the other side. That's your linear, which will also, if I spin it around...
Ready?
Is your bottom.
Is your bottom. So you've got more of those, but the other prints you can use as and where you like.
Every kit with beans has sold out. Well done.
Oh, good grief.
I think the
beans
answer,
are a yes.
The answer to the question of, will our viewers want beans, is yes.
Would you like beans with that?
I'd like beans with that,
I would
yes
like
please.
Beans with that.
But don't worry, because you can still get this fabric. So you can still get making
the fabric bundle.
And get that look. And then we'll have to see what we can do about beans.
We'll get Ian to get some more beans.
We'll get Ian to get some more. Ian's our buyer. Ian, can we have some more beans, please?
Beans. More beans.
It's like being in a breakfast, all day breakfast.
Give me beans.
More beans.
Beans. So you can play around with the fabrics in terms of their placement. You're restricted as to which 2 are on the side and the base, but in terms of the segments of the star in the middle, you can play around with however you want those to be.
As ever, we've matched the colours beautifully.
Yeah, they all coordinate really nicely together. So I've photocopied one of the templates and I've just drawn on them which order I want them in, because you do lose track as you go along. And then I've taken the templates, I've printed off, I've photocopied 6 of each, 6 of A and 6 of B. And then what I've done, which is what I always do with foundation paper piecing, is that I fold against all of the sewing lines. So on your foundation paper piecing, I find it easier as you go along to pre-fold the lines. So just go along. I've just used a piece of cardboard and just folded against each of those.
Right.
It doesn't matter if they get pressed in the process of making your foundation paper piecing, but by pre-folding those, it helps.
We've had a lovely message from Sue in East Sussex. She says,
Hi,
hi ladies, I've been waiting for this show. Me too. Got my kit. Oh, well done.
Oh, good.
Thank you for getting my Sojo back.
Oh, hooray.
I like that.
It's a great project for this.
I love all of you and watch when I can. Thanks, Sue.
Thank
Sue,
you,
absolute
Sue.
pleasure. Whereabouts in East Sussex are you? Right, from East Sussex originally. Yeah. Just, like to know a fellow Sussexian.
Yes, I can't say that word.
Right.
Okay, so what I've done is I've cut out the templates. You can see on the pattern, you've got a shaded line. I've just cut on the outside of that shaded line.
Is that your seam allowance?
That will be your seam allowance. That's 1/4 of an inch. The top edge I've not been terribly accurate with. Doesn't matter. I've gone more than the 1/4 of an inch.
Right.
So 1/4 of an inch or more. So that doesn't matter so much. These sides do matter.
Okay.
And I've used a rotary cutter and ruler to cut those out, but I've used an old blade. So I've got an old handle that I broke. So I use that with an old blade to cut paper with. It's much quicker than using scissors.
I changed my blade, you'd be so proud of me. I changed my blade last night and I got my marker pen out and wrote old on the old one, put it back in the packet so I know not to put it back in again, or just to use it for paper.
Use it for paper. So it makes that process a lot quicker.
Yes.
So you cut those out and do your folding and then you're ready to go. What the instructions suggest, and this isn't normally something that's possible with foundation paper piecing, is to nest your seams. And you can do that by, traditionally on a pattern, you would do piece A, then B, then C, then D, then E. But a really useful tip from the designer is to do half of them starting from A to E and the other half starting E to G. E.
Oh. Back to A.
It's back to front.
I know, I've been sitting here looking at that going,
really hurts my head.
G when I look at it, but back to front.
So what I've done is on half of them, I drew an arrow that pointed the other way to remind me to paper piece them in this direction.
So organised.
I think you have to be, because you get yourself in a muddle, especially when all the pattern pieces essentially look the same.
Yeah.
You can very easily get yourself in a muddle.
Do you think that's why they've done the alphabet back to front, so that you know?
Maybe to give you a bit of a guide.
Oh my word, stop warnings on everything. Oh, we should have some kind of what? Please check out your baskets. I don't want you missing out. I don't want you to have missed out on the beans and then miss out on the fat. I mean, that would just be a double whammy.
Oh, that would be a shame,
No,
wouldn't
don't
it?
do that. Check out your baskets now. This is a show that everyone's been waiting for. I've been walking past that Pouffe in the office for so long, and every time being like, In fact, we had the original one from the magazine.
Yes, I'm surprised it's still here.
Yeah.
Not for long, obviously.
I loves it.
Okay, so the pattern tells you how wide to cut your strips. If you're new to foundation paper piecing, I'd add 1/4 of an inch.
Would you? Why?
Just to give yourself a little bit room for manoeuvre. It's not difficult. It really isn't difficult, but I think it just gives you that sense of safety.
Okay. I like how you brace yourself for that.
Yes, just be okay. Right, when you're doing your first piece, so we're going to do the one that starts at A and works to E.
Yeah.
We're going to place your fabric right side down.
Okay.
And then we're going to take your pattern. The pattern with the printed side is always upwards.
Okay.
And we're going to place that over the fabric. And I'm going to pin that in place. You could use a fabric glue pen if you had a fabric glue pen, if you prefer.
We had that earlier on, yeah.
That's all right. A pin, I'm happy with a pin. So I'm going to pin that in place. Remember, fabric wrong side up and pattern right side up. I'm just going to trim this piece of fabric to get rid of all this excess. So I'm just going to roughly trim down this side. And at this stage, you don't have to be exact. I wouldn't be cutting at the moment directly against the edge of the pattern piece.
Okay.
I would leave it quite wide.
So is that piece, that's going to be where that piece is?
That is going to be where that piece is.
And that sounds strange, but you'll see why I say that in a second.
Yeah, it's higgledy-piggledy, but once you get into the flow of it, it all makes sense. So then I fold back against that first line between the A and the B.
And you've already pre-folded.
I've already pre-folded, so that makes it easier because you're not faffing about here. And then I'm going to use the outer quarter ruler, and we'll have a look at that in a sec.
This is a brilliant piece of kit.
It's a really brilliant tool because it just allows you to easily cut 1/4 of an inch seam allowance on your fabric.
Right.
And it's got this really handy little lip on the underside. It's sort of stepped between the two, you can see there. And I buttered the pattern, the paper pattern on the underside of that little ledge.
Just slots up nicely.
Slots in.
That's $10.99 graphics art on your screen. CJEQ 35, and that's $10.99.
So if you're doing foundation paper piecing, that's an absolute must.
Okay.
Because it makes it, when you start getting to more complicated foundation paper piece patterns, you end up with bulky seams, and a standard ruler would slip and slide around, whereas this one butts in and makes it a lot easier.
Okay.
So from this point, you then take your second fabric and you place that right side up.
So you're now right sides together.
You're doing right sides together. And because I've cut this straight with 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, I can place this cut edge up against the cut edge on the fabric underneath.
So the top cut edge.
The top cut edge, so they match up together.
Okay.
Now this feels really counterintuitive, but what you're doing here, and I'll fold this back on here. So on the top, on the other side, you can see we're about to sew on piece B. So when you fold this back this way, this middle section here is piece B. So you just need to make sure that sits, this piece B underneath, sits within this piece of fabric. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that sits wholly within that, plus your 1/4 of an inch that you'll need to trim later. Okay?
So because that's going to flip,
we're going to press it back the other way.
It's a nice way of showing it, really nice way of showing it, thank you. We've got a message from Marilyn in Nottinghamshire.
Hi, Marilyn.
I'm new to sewing quarter. Well, hello.
Welcome.
Thank you, welcome. But I've managed to get the kit with beans.
Oh,
nice.
good job, good start to sewing
get
quarter.
in there. I'm so excited, I love your show, says Maz. Thank you for joining us. Is that your very first order? Because if it is, Marilyn, then you'll be getting a cutting mat and some extra fat quarters as well. Oh, Eileen's messaged in and she says, hi ladies, love this. Can you tell me where I get the pattern, please? You get it with it. It's coming with the kit. It was originally in Simply Sewing magazine, so you can subscribe on the website. But this is the kit with everything, with the amount of fabrics that you need. This is the kit that we're using today, $39.99, NGGC00. We've got 9 of you with that particular one sat in your basket. Ooh. Please check out. All the ones with beans have now gone, and we're running low on the other ones. So Eileen, if you are after any of these patterns that come with all the fabric, or rather the fabric comes with the patterns, whichever way around, it's all a wanna, please check out your basket now.
Do it.
Yep.
Do what Natasha says.
Ooh, yeah,
right, foundation paper piecing, you are sewing through the paper. The paper is your foundation that keeps everything together.
So the first thing that I know about this, it's about the only thing that I know, is that you shorten your stitch length so that you can then basically rip the paper out afterwards.
It allows you to take the paper out afterwards.
That's my knowledge.
I've reduced down my stitch length. Okay. Don't go too short. I've got a machine at home and mine goes really short. If you go too short, you end up perforating. And I have brought with me my sellotape.
Just in case.
Just in case, because if you do go too short and it starts to come apart, just stick a bit of tape on. So what I'm doing is I'm sewing from the cut edge of the paper to the other cut edge of the paper along the line.
And have you started, you've included that seam allowance, so it's the line plus the seam allowance?
Yes, and these lines extend all the way to the edge.
Oh, they do?
In foundation paper piecing, you don't always get the line all the way to the edge, but for this pattern you would sew all the way to the edge.
That's good then. Oh.
Okay.
Do you... No, okay, you don't go backwards and forwards or anything?
No, the stitch length is really short and you've gone into that seam allowance. So from here, we're just going to, and I'll show you first before we press it. So from the right side, we've joined those together, right sides together. And then we're going to flip that over and press it.
So that now covers?
That covers, and I'll just flip it over to that side so you can see. That then covers the whole of B on the other side. You can see that just comes up here.
I love the fact that you've been given the cutting instructions for this, because normally with English paper, with foundation paper piecing,
yeah, sometimes it is quite difficult, and some patterns will give you. Have I just cut that too far?
No.
Oh no,
no, you're good. You're right.
Some will give you sizes of rectangles to cut, or triangles or whatever to cut in order to create your pattern. But sometimes they don't tell you at all. And there are different techniques I can show you for how to deal with that. But this is great if you've never done foundation paper piecing, because you've got that restricted width strip to help guide you with the cutting.
I think this is doable for me.
Totally.
I've not done foundation paper piecing, and I think it's one of those things you have to kind of, because I'm so used to doing quilts as you go.
Yep.
You know, I think I'd have to take a moment to just get my head round into the foundation paper piecing
mentality.
Yes, absolutely, because here you stitch on the line. In Quilt As You Go, you use it as a guide. Here you stitch on the line.
Yep. So what I'll do is I'll plop that over to this side. I'm folding back against line B.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to trim. If you've not added that extra 1/4 of an inch, you don't need to do this. But I think it's really valuable to see the process of what you would do if you didn't have these strips.
No, I'm with you.
So I've cut that back down. That's that 1/4 inch seam allowance. And we've got that cut edge. Again, we'll place that over this piece of fabric. Again, right sides together.
And go to the top edge.
Go to the very top edge, because this strip here is quite long or quite deep. And you've just got to make sure that you allow enough room for the finished piece plus a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. What you've also got to realise is that this is at an angle. So this isn't a straight piece, it comes out at an angle. So when you place it on your fabric, make sure that the fabric extends past this point here, which is the end of piece C.
Oh, so as that's folded, that shows you where...
Yeah, so you can't just go, okay, concentrate on the cut edge, I'll stick it here.
Yeah.
Because on the underside, there's not enough fabric in here.
Okay, I'm with you.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because the piece, that's piece C in here,
Right.
which I've drawn upside down for everyone. But you can see underneath, there's not enough fabric. So you've got to look at the piece.
So shift it along a bit.
So you've got to shift it along. So now you can see that the end of that piece, there's some fabric here.
Okay. All makes sense now.
It does, and it is a bit of, oh, breaking the sewing machine. It feels all back to front. You just got to remember, right sides together and make sure that that fabric's covered by your pattern piece. You can do it holding it up to the light or something, but that's quite a simple way of doing it by just folding the pattern piece back.
I've never seen it done like that, and that makes total sense to me.
It's so much easier because you can visually see it and you're not holding it up to the light.
It makes more sense than any other way I've seen. So I like that.
Oh, good.
I'm going to go with that. Yeah, thanks.
I love foundation paper piecing because you
do,
can create
don't you?
not only graphic, geometric type patterns, but you can create pictures with it as well.
Now, Kerry Ann in Gloucestershire says, "Hi, ladies.
Hi.
What is the name of the fabulous yellow ruler? Do you sell them, please?" Yes, we do. They're £10.99. They're called Add an Inch.
A quarter.
Quarter of an inch. Add a quarter of an inch. I hope I get it around the right way. Get the name right.
And
basically, Kerry Ann, look at that there, that bit, and don't listen to me. Add a quarter plus. There it is. So that's the key to this, isn't it? That little groove, and that, of course, is your quarter of an inch measurement there.
And
so
don't be frightened of the add a quarter plus. The plus just means that the depth of the ruler is longer.
Oh, so you're not adding
because some
more.
rulers are here, but this one's a bit wider. It just gives you a bit more to hold when you're doing it. So don't be worried about the plus that you're buying.
That's the plus size bit.
Yeah. So show you again. So this is how we've stitched along that line between B and C. And then from the other side, that's what that looks like. Don't trim at this point. Always wait until you've pressed and then trim the edges off. Because if here, you trim here and here, by the time you turn it over, it's all wrong.
And unpicking's going to be tricky because you shorten your stitch length.
It takes a really long time.
Yes.
So we'll just give that a quick... Oh, go on, press that over.
Well, this is coming together a treat.
Yeah, and like with so many things, you can do several at one time.
Yes.
So you could do all of the parts A to part B's together, all of the part B's to part C's together. You can do them all in a row.
An introduction to foundation paper piecing, I think this is probably one of the most achievable ones I've seen.
It's really achievable, and you create something big and decent. It's not a little project, it's something quite decent that you're creating.
I spent 15 days doing this, and it's the size of my wallet.
And yes, and I only cried 6 times.
It was so worth it.
It was fine. So I've just roughly trimmed those. We'll trim those down further later.
Now, you see, we had a viewer on our fan page who couldn't sleep one night, so she just got up and whizzed up one of these.
Oh, there you go.
As you do.
Perfect.
See? People, sewing all times of the day and night.
Yeah, I think Lucy was sewing all times of the night the other day. Right, so I've folded it down again between C and D, fold down. If you need to, trim.
It looks about spot on,
that
doesn't
one
it?
looks pretty much all right.
Yeah. Oh, like a
And
little
then we'll
gnat's
just
whisker.
And then I'll lay that again, repeat the process. Lay this over the top, match up your raw edges at the top, and then make sure that the fabric is totally underneath this pattern piece. This one's here. Nice wonky line for you. That one's here, so you need to go, the fabric needs to extend past the line and plus a quarter of an inch here.
Okay.
So that's plenty of room.
Is that another reason as to why you fold beforehand as well?
I just find it easier because you're not having to wrestle with it at this point.
But you're also seeing where that's D area finishes.
Yes, yeah, it helps with that.
Yeah.
And if you just sit down and do all your folding at once, it gets it out of the way.
It's another movie moment, isn't it?
Movie
or, you know,
moment.
got something on telly,
On the TV.
and off you go. Could be us.
Hello. Hi. Or the Olympics. I may have been watching random sports on the Olympics.
Really?
All sorts of things. Husband phoned the other day and I said, don't call me now, I'm watching the curling.
He said what?
What are you doing? I said, well, the curling's on.
Victoria in Northampton, she says, hi ladies. Brilliant explanation, Victoria. This
Thank
is from
you.
one Victoria to another.
One to the other.
This can be quite a difficult technique to explain clearly. Well done. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Victoria is one of our guests that has really demystified foundation paper piecing for me. For which I'm very grateful. Thank you very much.
Well, I expect to see
Victoria's
Pouffe.
words.
Yeah, just one point about pressing. Some people are quite happy to just finger press when they do the foundation paper piecing and move on. Personally, I prefer a slightly crisper finish.
I can see that gets you a bit jittery. There was a moment of...
But you know what? It depends on the project and what you're doing. It may not matter.
Okay.
So you could finger press if you wanted to, but I prefer a pressed edge.
There you go. Right, I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to leave you with that, and I'm going to go and show you what we've got left.
Okay, well, I will attach on piece E.
Okay. Oh, not a lot. Now, the one that we're using at the moment, this one here, if everybody checks out, has sold out, but you haven't all checked out yet, so I can still show it to you because at the moment you are guaranteed it, but oh no, not anymore. People have just added it to their basket. God, it's dog-eat-dog fabric world out there. There's your instructions there and your thread. Let me open those up so that you actually get a little bit more of an idea. Your template and everything is coming in here as well. There you go. Very easy, step by step. There's templates going one way, template going the other way. Ba, 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 ba. And as Victoria said, you'd sew with your seams going one way and then sew with your seams going the other way. But you really need to check out your baskets with this. Please do check out your baskets. Oh my word. Okay, we have more of you with that in the basket than we actually have available. So you can still get it if you're very, 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 very quick. Okay, so if you've got your heart set on it, all you need to do is just check out. Right, I can't believe we've got any of this left. Love this one. This is your editor sitar, whichever way around you want to say it. Again, full instructions, but just the most beautiful colourways. It is a very sophisticated version. But actually, I think this will look nice in so many homes. Really beautiful, but you do need to check out. So those three fabrics are all your Adidas sitar, and then we've given you a nice linen. And look at that, beautiful. Is that the antique blue? I think it is. There we go. So that's your kit there, $35.99. It's a stunner. Beans all gone though. So well done if you manage to get those. Because you've got to be quick. Just got to be quick.
Got to be super quick.
It's the name of the game, isn't it? Whoops.
It is. Oh, you reckon a set?
Well, you know, giving it a go.
So just to show you.
Oh, now we go the other way.
Now we can go the other way. So I'll finish showing you this one because I've now stitched all of those from A up to E and roughly cut round the outside. So from the other side, that's what it starts to look like. And from this point, this is where I would then trim the fabric up to...
Oh, so to the seam allowance that the paper piecing gives you?
Yes. So you can just use your standard ruler for that one because you don't need to add any seam allowances.
Right, because it's already on there.
It's already on there.
Nice.
On that side and then the other.
And then how do you go around the wobbly bit at the top?
As it's I'll leave that till the end.
Okay.
So I'll join those together because you've got all your seam allowances on the side. So we'll add the sides together and we'll deal with the outsides later because you can see on this one, my tops aren't even, but that's fine. We can come to that. So there's your finished wedge. So that one will go...
Even top. Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that for the time being. So that one will go in there. So then to do the other one, we would just work in reverse. So we start at E and we work the other way. So I've cut out a piece. Again, that first piece has got to go right side down.
Yes.
Everything else is right side up. This is right side down.
Do you know what? I think the very first piece on there is the hardest piece to do. I really do. Because once you get into the swing of everything else, you're good to go.
Yep.
But I think that first piece is the one that might bamboozle you.
Yes. You could cheat and just use a solid.
Yes. There you go.
Just cheat. So then you come to your next piece and we're working in reverse. So either refer back to one that you've already done or back to your instructions where you've written down which order you're doing them in. Place it on. Slightly wonky. Place those raw edges together. Or pin that.
And then off you go.
And then off we go again.
Brilliant, isn't it? Victoria, email Victoria.
Email
is right.
Victoria.
It's very clear now. I get it.
And you get into the swing of it and you just go cut, press, fold.
If this is your first ever foundation paper piece project, firstly, wow. And secondly, you know, as Victoria says, get into the swing of it. I've seen so many really complex foundation paper piece projects that, to be honest, it's scaring daylights out of me.
And it does really scare you because you think, I'll never be able to do that. And you look at the pieces and they're so small. But it is, in the same way that Quilt As You Go is quilt by numbers, this is a numbers game as well because you're just doing it in the order that the pattern designer has told you to.
Yes.
You start with, more complicated patterns will have sections to them. So you have a section A, section B, and you piece all the pieces in section A together, piece all the sections in section B, and then you join A and B together to create AB, and then you join that to something else. But it's still the same process. It's no more difficult. The pieces might be a bit smaller, but it's still the same process.
So you could go on to this, well, you know, sky's the limit after you've done this.
Yeah, it does. And it's just take your time and go step by step.
How did you get into it?
I saw a pattern and thought, oh, that looks like fun, and gave it a try.
That was it?
Yeah, and I loved it and completely hooked. And I like the creativity that you can get from it. And the results look so impressive, but all you've done is sewn in a straight line.
Happy days.
Makes it really easy. Okay, so I've got, how are we doing for time?
We've got about, what, 20 minutes left?
Okay, I'll keep sewing this. We'll quickly whiz this up. Because I've got here, I've done these two pieces here. One of them I've not reversed. So you can see how different it is when the seams nest versus when the seams don't nest.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'll just trim that down. And then we'll do a C in the middle.
So it's about what's going to make life easy for you.
And to be honest, nesting the seams makes life easier for you.
Okay.
Because it's less difficult, but I thought it was still a valid thing to show people.
No, absolutely.
If we get the time.
But it also gives a texture, doesn't it, to the piece?
Okay, I'll whiz through that.
She's in the zone.
I'm in the zone. I'm sewing fast.
Yeah, no. Well, this is... Did you make the original one for the magazine?
No, I didn't, no.
I wonder who made that.
The lady who designed it, Laura.
Hang on. Right, hang on. Let's give credit where credit's due here. Right, so the designer of this wonderful piece is Laura Pritchard. Laura's projects can often be spotted in Simply Sewing. Today's quilter, love patchwork and quilting, and Molly makes. She's busy. Busy. Look, there she is. Yeah. So all I can say is thank you, Laura. What an absolutely stunning project.
Homes across the countryside adorned with...
Yeah, salute you and say thank you very much.
Wonderfully made poufs.
No, I just think it's wonderful because actually when you see them in the shop, they're so expensive.
They are. And this way you can create something that matches your decor and you've made yourself.
Hurrah.
And just trim that seam allowance down, add that one onto this one, which I think is one of my favourites from this range.
Do you know, yes, me too. This is, it's a kind of an indigo-y colour.
Yeah, midnighty.
Yeah.
Nice texture to it.
It's got a depth to it, hasn't it? The way that this one,
nice.
Yes, it's a beautiful one.
Two-tone, like that one.
Yeah, you wouldn't think about getting so excited about what is ultimately just a navy. And yet, they're not all created equal. That inkiness in there. There we go. Right.
Okay.
Let me press.
Give that one a press, and then
My
we'll do
eyeballs.
the final bit. Look at me making a
So actually,
big old mess over
another
here.
stock warning. Come on, producer Paul, hit me with it. What is it? Adidas sitar, 4 left.
See how I think that is quite traditional and would look lovely in like a country house.
Do you know what
we've
got? Leather sofas.
Yep.
And I think that would look beautiful with the leather sofas.
Yeah, it would look nice. Really nice. Okay, so we'll trim that off. Thank you very much, able assistant.
Wow, I think we could just stick with assistant. Less of the able.
You said it.
Yeah,
not
well,
me.
you know, I'm not the one actually in charge of cutting or anything, so we'll just stick with assistant for now.
Just assistant for now.
I might progress.
Yeah, go on.
You know,
Foundation
you never
paper
know.
piecing superstar. That's what we're aiming for.
Absolutely, and you can be at home too.
Yeah. So I folded back again between A and B, trim that down.
We've got 14 minutes.
Loads of time.
I like that. Loads of time.
So this one's slightly different because we're doing it backwards. So you just got to sit this slightly differently on the fabric. So again, just make sure that you've got enough room to go underneath this paper piece before you pin it in place. So that looks really odd that
Really
we're going to
counterintuitive, massively.
put that in place.
Now, I've noticed something. Steady on. But on some of these, they're interface, is that right?
No, I haven't used
You
interfacing
haven't used
in
any
this. No, I was
interfacing?
surprised when Chris brought it out and I forgot to say something. I haven't used
it's one-sided.
interfacing. I have, however, used fusible fleece.
We haven't got that today.
Oh, no.
Because everybody's...
Oh, did we sell out?
Yeah, I might have done. It was the H640, I think we've sold out. So, yes. But
Okay.
so where did you use the fusible fleece?
Everywhere.
Oh, everywhere.
I used
Has
it everywhere.
fusible fleece. We'll go crazy with it.
Yes, I used fusible fleece to back the front, pad the sides and pad the bottom.
Everyone
So
likes a padded bottom.
if we don't have any fusible fleece left, then you could use standard wadding.
Well, I'm just trying to see what recommendations are made in here.
Fusible fleece?
Huh?
Fusible fleece?
Oh, fusible fleece. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And here. Oh no, it says heavyweight sewing. Oh no, that was for the handle. I did use it. I take it back. I'm sorry.
Oh, you did. Oh, you
I
did use it. Oh, you
I
used
did.
the iron-on interfacing for the handle.
For the handle. Forgot the
There you
handle.
go. Sorry, I just found
Hey,
out where she did use it.
Natasha, I used some interfacing.
Did you?
I did.
Well, that's brilliant.
Yeah, would you like to see where I used it?
If you'd like your iron-on interfacing, because you'll need that for the handle if you're adding the handle.
Look, here it is.
There we are.
I've made two of them.
Perfect.
One for the sample, one for the demo. Amazing.
Brilliant.
Really like a
Then
sieve.
you will need your fusible iron-on interfacing
Oh, an idiot.
for the handle. There we go. We'll come to that in just one moment. There you go. There. Iron-on interfacing for the handle. We didn't put this in the kit because you might already have some of this at home.
And to be honest, you only need a little bit.
yeah.
But
if you have it,
need
it's just
some,
$2.99.
get some for your stash.
Pop it in your basket.
Right, so there's my second one attached.
Super speedy here, but you can tell you've done a couple of these.
Done a few in my sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I could sew in my sleep. Be like the elves and the shoemaker.
So much more done.
Imagine that.
Do you know, Laura Pritchard looks so much like my friend. I did
Oh,
a double
really?
take. Yeah.
Thought your friend was moonlighting as a
Yeah, no, I did.
pattern
Yeah, no,
designer.
she really looks like one of my friends she's a wig girl at the Royal Shakespeare Company.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a job, isn't it? Wow. Okay. I'll trim those a little bit. Okay, so at this point, clear away some of the mess.
Yep.
You come to join your segments together and you join them in pairs, but it's easier if you join them in pairs and then join them as 6 and 6.
Do we keep the paper in
At the moment, yes, keep the paper in.
All right.
It's easier. So I've got here two different samples. This one, and probably only you, will be able to see the difference between the two. But these two are where the seams are being pressed in the same direction, and then these two will be where the seams are being pressed in opposite directions.
Okay.
So when you place your two pieces together, you go right sides together, and make sure you're careful when you do these, that you don't put them together. I'm going to sew down here, but don't accidentally sew on the other side because your chevron shape will be different.
It goes the wrong way.
And you
Okay.
might have an odd number of ones going in wrong
Then you'd
directions.
have to start again.
And you'd have to unpick
Pick.
and start again. But what I would say is that when you're sewing together segments, if you're unsure, and this pattern you're absolutely fine with, but more complicated patterns, stitch first on a really long stitch length so that you can check it, open it up, make sure that you've got the bits joined that you want joining, and then go back and do a smaller stitch length. Because, like you said, to unpick it is a right pain in the proverbial. So here, with these ones where you've matched, where you've got seams going in opposite directions, you can just flip them together, and then these will nest really nicely in with each other and make it really easy to stitch.
So that is why you do your seams.
Because you want all the points on your stars to sit really nicely. So for that, you can then just use sewing clips. Oh, that machine keeps popping open.
Oh, it's a secret stash point in there. It's got all sorts of little secrety bits. And again, you then just sew through. So
you sew through, but for this, I'm going to sew up to the point. I'm not going to sew past the point, because again, it makes it easier on a future step. So only sew up to that point.
Okay.
Don't go all the way to the end.
Okay.
So that's how I would attach these if they're nesting.
Okay.
And that's where the paper keeps everything still really in the right place. So you're stitching in the right place, the fabric's in the right place. If you are attaching two together where you haven't got your seams going in opposite directions, you would pin through. And I would pin through this junction here. So on this stitching line between A and B, I would stick a pin through, make sure that that's coming out straight between A and B. And then on the corresponding opposite piece, I would stick the pin through and just try and make sure that that goes. I'm going slightly the wrong way. So stick your pin through the two junctions, and again I would do the same thing on some of the other junctions.
And then once you've got a couple of junctions pinned, you can then pin everything securely.
It should sit straight, because the paper means that it won't have stretched out of place. So you can put your pins in. Oh, and I've just ripped that in half.
Oh no, quick,
it's too rough. Yeah, I know, it's quite tempting.
We've just had a message from Deborah. She says, best, and this is all shouty capitals, best Valentine delivery ever.
Oh, hooray.
Thank you for my Tula fabrics. You're very welcome. Very, very welcome. Now, talking to Tula, we've got some tomorrow. Yeah, we've got them tomorrow, which is very exciting, 9 o'clock. So if you missed out on Tula, don't, basically, watch tomorrow.
Excellent.
9 o'clock.
Lucy doing those? Who's doing the Tula tomorrow?
Me. Me, myself, and I will be doing Tula.
Fabric showcase.
It's a recap. I've got 50 items on that show tomorrow.
Crikey.
I know, there's a lot of fabric. So if you weren't Deborah and you didn't get it last week.
If you're not Deborah.
It wasn't just Deborah. Like loads of other people got stuff as well. Yeah.
Fab.
Yeah.
Exciting day. So now I'm going to sew the two pieces together.
Okay.
Like I say, I'm starting at the apex.
Yep.
Of that line.
And you're not going to go forwards and back. You're just going to stitch away.
Just going to go for it.
Now, on the kit that we're using now, what about it, Patricia Paul? There we go. Oh, 3 left.
3.
14 of you have got it in your basket. But, you know, 3 left.
3. Oh, right.
Yeah. No, as in, you know.
Okay.
Please press checkout if you want it, because at the moment, 11 of you are going to be sad. I don't like that. No, I really don't like that.
Fabric regret.
The big fabric regret.
I didn't buy the one that got away.
It's Valentine's Day. Everybody should be happy.
Yeah. So I said here, I started at the apex. At the other end, I'm going to sew all the way to the end.
Okay, all right, just keep going.
Yeah, just keep going all the way to the
Okay.
end. And from that point, dun, 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 I'm hoping.
Yeah, perfect. Victoria, that's utterly perfect.
It is so satisfying.
Ah, that would be the most
sorry,
perfect point I would have ever done, ever.
Yeah,
Do I press
really
that now?
satisfying. Yes, and these I press open from this side.
Okay, good.
Just press them open. Wouldn't ordinarily will necessarily do that, but the way that this is constructed, it makes
It's your
the
bulk
middle,
though, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes the middle easier to sew. Yeah, so
Yeah.
just give that a little press.
Go on then, hand that over, I'll do that.
Do that. And then what we'll do, because we're running short on time a little bit, what I'll do is I'll then attach 2 of these together so that you can see, because we need to tear away a little bit of paper. I'll leave the paper in place for the time being, but when you're stitching 2 segments together, sometimes you get the paper in the way. So you need to get some of the paper out first, to get it out afterwards is really tricky.
Now, floor manager Chris, Rugby Chris as I'm going to call him.
Rugby Chris.
Big rugby player. He has just come in, which means one of 2 things. Either we're getting towards the end of the show, nearly. And also he's removing things off the desk over there, which must mean we've sold out of something else. Is that correct, Producer Paul? Yes,
Chris is nodding. So we're going to repeat the same process. So you've sewing together in pairs. Again, because you've alternated which direction you're pressing, you can then nest those seams. Nice. They sit nicely on top of each other. Make sure that the raw edges of the paper match up, and then
makes it a joy, doesn't it, actually?
Makes it really easy. But what you do need to do is when you're going to stitch, again, you're going to go to that midpoint of the star. But here, at this point in here, you're going to have to sew across this fabric.
What?
To get to the point.
Okay.
But that means that there's paper underneath. So
is that the bit you pull out?
Yeah, so this bit underneath here, I'll scribble on it and then you can see. So that bit here where I've scribbled is the bit that I'm going to take out.
Okay. And
the same on the underside.
Okay.
So I'll just tear that out.
This is quite satisfying, this bit.
Oh, yeah. Super easy to get out. So I'll tear that out and then the same on the other side. And you don't need to be too exact.
It's all right, just as well, because we've got 2 minutes.
Okay. So sew those together.
Okay.
So you've got 6 and 6.
Okay.
So they're sewn together. Shall I talk about the construction of the rest of it?
Yeah, no, do, because we've got 2 minutes, so it's important.
So when you've got your top made,
yes,
you then go around, and then I would take my ruler and just work out on the top here 1/4 of an inch. So I just go around and work out proper 1/4 of an inch here, all the way round, and cut on that line. And that gives you a finished top section.
That is absolutely perfect.
That's absolutely perfect.
Okay.
From there, I would then take that.
Now you have a tip that is slightly different to the one in the pattern.
The one in the pattern.
And I would say, actually, on this occasion, go with Victoria's
just don't cut out the base until you've made the top. So make your top, place that on, and I've gone on a couple of steps so that you can see. Place that on top of your base fabric.
Yes.
And then cut out roughly cut out, because you can see here that this one's bigger than this one, because I've not trimmed this one, and it's a little bit bigger. So then cut out a circle that's vaguely bigger. At that point, you can then attach your fusible fleece or your wadding, batting, whatever
it is
you
you're
want.
using, yes.
You can attach that to the underside. You can then quilt it. So I've just done, in the same number of segments, so I've done 12 segments.
Yeah.
To quilt that, and this one comes with a nice contrast, mustardy.
It's a bit denim-y, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes a really good denim effect. So I've done that, and then you can go back, and then once you've quilted, because you might quilt heavily, don't know, you can then again use that as your template to cut the exact circle.
So that's why you would leave extra, because actually quilting will pull the fabric
Always pulls it in.
And so it's a close run thing on the actual instructions. So go for more.
Give yourself a bit more.
Use this as your actual template, then you can't possibly go wrong.
No.
Use that as your actual template, add a little bit extra, do your quilting, then cut it back.
Yeah, and you've got plenty of fabric to play with, so don't be worried about it. Cut your strips for your foundation paper piecing first, because it's not a big strip. Cut those off your width of fabric first, and then leave the rest until after you've done your top.
Fabulous, we're out of time.
Oh. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for everything that you've bought. I'm going to go and show you everything that we've got left.
See what's left.
Amazing.
A few scraps.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. What a lovely way to celebrate. So this is the one that Victoria has been working with. You know, when I said Chris came in, he took away the Adidas sitar. That's gone. So well done if you managed to get that. This is the only kit that we have left. 14 of you have it in your basket. And how many available? 3. If you want this, instructions, thread, all of the fabric ready to go to make the one that we've just seen on today's show, then here it is. that is $39.99, and you need to check out your baskets now because at the moment there's going to be disappointment. Oh, we've had a message from Kerry Ann. Hello again, Kerry Ann. Oh, hello, Theo. It's half term and he loves sewing quarter. Theo is our favourite 4-year-old who likes to control the telly and tell us which fabrics to pick up. So hello, Theo. Lovely to have your company today. Now, if you are a new buyer, and we've had a lot of those today as well, then we've got a free gift for you. If you are spending over £20 with your first order, not only do you get our A4 cutting mat, that's a self-healing cutting mat as well, but also you'll get these. Now, this is if you're spending over £20 today. You get 8 beautiful fat quarters in there. You just have to use the code SQLOVE. Now, from our first hour, let's have a little recap because I know everything's gone incredibly quickly today. We did this teddy bear. This was what Victoria and I got up to first hour. Yes, yes, yes. We love him. We loves him. And you can get the kit so that you can make him. Now, that we did one, but the kit will make 4 teddy bears. $57.99, NRGC 44 there. And that gives you your 12 fat quarters and also a metre of natural coloured fabric and, of course, your thread as well. Now, if you watched the show and you saw that we did kind of a pinkier version, then this is the pinkier version. This is the most popular, but again, this is by the same designer. And it's $57.99. It's from the same range. That's your Autumn Grace range. Verna, crikey, what's her surname? I've started now, I need to finish. Mosquera, I think is how I pronounce. Oh, I don't know, I'm rubbish at pronouncing. So $57.99, but very romantic feel, very shabby chic, you know, sort of antique, classic, beautiful fabrics. So that was from the first hour. Now, last hour with Lucy Brennan, we did a beautiful merry-go-round quilt. Now, with that just gives you a taster because you can make a queen size quilt. Now that was your Amy Butler one, $92.99. Now you get a whopping 6 meters of that cream fabric, half a meter of your marine blue, 2 different threads, as well as your Amy Butler design roll. Fabulous. So Lucy Brennan, let's talk about Lucy Brennan for a minute. She is back after the break and she is going to bring us this fabulous cushion, which is out of a brand new Tilda book. There you go, isn't that stunning? So if reverse applique is something you've been thinking about, having a little dabble with, thinking, shall I give it a go? Well, why not give it a go with this? How stunning is this? So this is what we're going to be making with all sorts of other types of applique-based action after this short break.
Follow us on Instagram. Search for our Sewing Quarter page and follow us to get our latest posts. Join us on Saturday the 17th of February when Jenny Smith returns with her classic Hepworth apron pattern. After selling out in just 20 minutes last time, we've got more stock and more ideas as Jenny shows us how to transform the apron into a dress. Choose from kits featuring linen in deep inky blue or rustic golden flax. Plus, we have a stylish array of denims and vintage cotton fabrics. Meet Jenny and discover the story behind this popular pattern. So tune in for this back in stock beauty Saturday the 17th of February at 9 AM only on Sewing Quarter, Freeview Channel 78 and Sky Channel 678. Did you know there are multiple ways you can contact us, even if it's just to ask a question? Our friendly team are always on standby. You can call our customer service team at 0800 112 4433, email us at help@sewingquarter.com, visit our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter @sewingquarter, and even message us through our website, and our presenters will answer your questions live on air.
Join us on Thursday the 15th of February when Lucy Brennan takes us over the rainbow with a glorious Technicolor quilt. Mixing 10 beautiful colours including turquoise, bright red, lime green and on-trend violet on a white background, this design from Love Patchwork and Quilting magazine is a modern classic. As we've thoughtfully put all the fabrics required into a handy kit, all you have to do is sit back and let Lucy share her tips and tricks for making it. So tune in for an hour of colourful quilting, Thursday the 15th of February at 10 AM, only on Sewing Quarter, Freeview Channel 78 and Sky Channel 678. Join us on Facebook. Simply search for the Sewing Quarter and like our page for the latest news and more.
Hello, welcome back. Now, this is our last live hour this morning, and we are finishing off with a cracker. It's our brand new Tilda book. Yes. Oh, yes. So we'll bring you these details straight up. This book is absolutely stunning. It is stuffed full of quilts, toys, home decor, beautiful. It's Sewing by Heart by Tuna Finanga. There you go. That's how we say it. And this is what we're doing this hour. How stunningly beautiful is that? So not just your quilts. It's got all sorts of different projects. Do you know what? If you get it for nothing else, the photography is exquisite. There are some little characters that you might recognize, which is really lovely. And there are so many quilts in here that I just want to make. Oh my word. All step by step, really, really comprehensive instructions. You see, so you might be making a quilt and then suddenly think, well, I'll just have a little matching hairpiece. This is brand new today. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a great big project. It might be a cushion, it might be a little hairpiece. It's got all sorts in here. I whizzed up a quick squirrel out of the book last night. Can highly recommend that. So you've got all, I just think that's beautiful. Now let's go this way, find you some more this way. So we're going to be doing that reverse applique. The elephants. There are lots of different ideas, lots of different projects. And I love the way that these are so clearly set out. And you can try your hand at some new techniques in here as well. There's your squirrel, your patchwork squirrel, and your patchwork rabbit as well. All in there. So you've got toys, you've got all sorts, and also all kinds of seasons in here as well. You might recognise Mr. Fox. He's in here. There you go. So you can make a few of those. I love the pumpkins. I just love random large pumpkins. You could have them as door stoppers, couldn't you? Look at that. Just beautiful. So if you ever needed... Oh, wow, so many of you have got these in your baskets already. This is brand new today. Please do check out your baskets. It's been a day of me having to say that quite a lot, but yeah, for a good reason, because it's going crazy this morning. Now, look, you see, we've moved into winter here. We've got our little winter house. And also in the back, do you recognise him? Well, now you've got the pattern for him, for little Father Christmas. And then also, if you want to do... Tilda stockings, you've got all of the instructions, as well as at the back all of your templates to size, because it was a big elephant, yeah. So for example, you'll have to photocopy it a couple of times, because that's the back bit of the squirrel tail that will then attach onto there. But it's really, really clear. And then the rest of the squirrel is over the page, for example. So you just match up A and B to the A and B points there and sellotape them together. If I can manage it, you guys can. Look, there's your rabbit there. And so you've got all of your different animal limbs. So you just have, it's like having one of those great big patterns where you just have to look at what colour does what piece. But it's all in there. Even the detail, just even the back cover's got a beautiful fabrics on. Lots of you with this in the basket. It is brand new today. It is $16.99 and it is going to sell out is my prediction for today. I feel like Mystic Meg. I think this will sell out today. Isn't it gorgeous? Even if you don't even make a single thing from it, it's beautiful. Yeah, no, producer Paul's just saying the imagery in Tilda's books are always absolutely stunning. Yes, they absolutely are. A lot of them are actually photographed at her own home, you know, just to make you feel even more. Oh. Now, this hour, here we go. Oh, there you go. I don't have to grab it. Oh, I'll grab it anyway. Yeah. Is this stunner? I like to think this is like your applique family tree. So, producer Paul says, how do I make that? Well, Lucy's going to show us because you wouldn't want me to show you. This is reverse applique. Now, this is using the Plum Siegfried bundle that we've got for you. So the Siegfried Plum applique cushion bundle, you're getting 2.5 meters of fabric, wadding and thread. Whoop! Ah! It's running away from me. We've got 7 of these and that's it, because we've got various other bundles. So if you're after this exact colourway, then you do need to be quick. Now you're getting 2.5 meters of fabric in here. So you've got that lovely cream, and then you've got your beautiful Tilda fabric, and that's £30.49. Plus you're also getting your thread and wadding as well. Is this the wadding? Here we go, here's your wadding. Plus you're getting your wadding too. Okay, so £30.49. It's a showstopper, isn't it? But we've only got 7 of those. Beautiful. Now, if we're going to stick with Tilda, so if you want to go, you know, absolutely true to form and do a Tilda fabric with a Tilda book, then here we go. This is your botanical range here. And again, another 2.5 meters of fabric in this kit. I love this one. This is probably one of my all-time favorites. So this is your Tilda botanical, plus, of course, you're wadding your thread, 2.5 meters of fabric. So you've got your plain and then you've got your Tilda. Beautiful thread and wadding. Gorgeous. There we go, £30.49, QQ GC38. Now maybe from the last hour you're one of the lucky people that managed to get the Adidas Sitar fabrics. Well, here we go. Why not have a go at then embellishing the rest of your house with maybe a reverse applique Adidas Sitar cushion. Here we go. That's that beautiful fabric. I just think this is so beautiful. It's like an oil painting in fabric. It's just gorgeous. 1.5 meters of cream and 1 meter of your Adidas Sitar fabric. So that's how these are breaking down. 1.5 meters of the plain and then 1 meter of your beautiful feature fabric. Again, limited on these, so you're going to have to be quick. Now, over here, we've got, I think this is Dashwood, isn't it? This is our floral splendor. So, you know, maybe your house is a little bit more modern. Maybe this is going to work more to your taste. It's entirely up to you. This is the joy. We want to bring you something that's going to absolutely sit beautifully in your home. So there you go. You've got your plain, and then 1.5 meters of your plain and 1 meter of your pattern. That's how these kits are breaking down. And then down here, maybe a little birdie. You've got 1 meter of your little birdie and 1.5 meters again of your plain. That's how each of these are breaking down. Plus your thread, plus your wadding. And there you go. That's what you're getting, £32.49. Thread, wadding, don't forget your wadding as well. 1.5 meters of your plain and 1 meter of your lovebirds. Oh, how very appropriate on Valentine's Day. A beautiful lovebird. So without further ado, really, we need to know how to do this. Lucy, do you need the book or shall I leave it there? I don't know that we can share books. I don't know. Hello. Because it's all mine. No, it's not. I love this book.
Yes, I love it.
My squirrel's fallen over. You see this? Is, so you've got, I mean, you've done that gorgeous cushion. I did a squirrel.
So cute.
Just because, you know, it's inspirational, isn't it?
It's adorable.
It's my take on her cushion. It's not exactly that. My mum said, are you going to show that on
I like the patchwork.
Don't look too closely, but thanks. Pop him down there. Well, now, what are we doing?
Okay, so I'm going to show different applique techniques, so different ways of doing applique.
Okay.
And I'm going to demonstrate little bits of lots of different styles and ways of doing it.
Like an applique masterclass?
Yeah, because you don't want to see me make that whole cushion again, because it takes quite some time.
Was it slightly repetitive?
It wasn't, no, it didn't feel repetitive. It didn't, it takes time.
It's the concentration, isn't
yes,
it?
it's the
of that
concentration. I
reverse
think because you've got a
applique.
lot of curves as well, so it's a project that you're not going to do really, really quickly. It's one that you want to take your time over. And I can't tell you how long I just was fearful that I was going to cut into that background fabric.
Yeah, but you had a
Every
little
single
secret
time I
weapon.
was cutting, I was like, no, don't do it, don't do it.
So, I mean, just look at the detailing in there. It is exquisite, really exquisite. And it is one of those cushions that people will firstly pick up because it's so plump and lovely. But then they're going to wonder how on earth you did that.
And over time as well, because it's going to fray slightly, you know. So over time, I think it's just going to look loved and lovelier as well.
Both of those things,
Yeah.
and both will be true.
Yeah. So
It's a proper...
I know it is. It's a lovely size. It's a really
Now, there's
good
a secret
size.
tool that we need for this, isn't there? With the old duckbill platypus
Yes,
scissors.
the duckbill scissors. They come in really handy. To be honest, the smaller ones I did with embroidery scissors. So you can use embroidery scissors, but this makes it far easier and you're less likely to be worried about cutting, you know, going into the back of things. There's still always that fear.
The fear. If you like to live dangerously, this is the project for you.
Yes.
Eek. Okay, how do we do it, Lucy?
Okay,
Tell me.
You've got the template in the book, and it's a full-size template, but you have to print it out, you know, in sections and tape it together, just like you were saying.
Yeah.
So it's very easy. You can just photocopy the pages that are needed, cut it up, bit of tape.
To be honest,
Bob's your uncle.
I would rather have full size that I have to sellotape and jiggery-pokery around than having to faff about trying to
Enlarge.
work out enlarging.
I
So
agree.
that would always be my preference.
Yes, mine too. So you have half.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay, because then you reverse it. And that's so that it's perfectly symmetrical.
But that's not why it's called reverse applique.
No, that's not why it's called reverse applique. It was that
It's just
simple.
another happy scenario.
No. So what you can do is you can trace it. In the book, it recommends tracing it onto a larger piece of paper and doing it that way. But I just directly put the fabric on top of the template, and I have a light source, you know, light pad that I used underneath to copy the reverse.
Otherwise, you have your window, which is the great light source
Yes,
that we all have.
so I just marked the halfway point because to me that was easier than tracing it onto paper and then tracing it again. But if you wanted to do it, you know, either way works.
Half the stock of the book is gone. I do have to tell you already. It is brand new today, sewn by heart. It's the Tilda book. It's by Tuna Fananga. I'll even get that right. I get so excited about actually getting her first name right.
Yeah.
I stumble over the second. Tuna. It looks like Tony, but it's not.
It
It's
does,
tuna.
no.
Check out your baskets. Make sure that you get that. It's $16.99. YOMZ 68. Where do we start?
Okay, so once you've got your template as it should be, you're going to cut out your pieces. Now, obviously, just for demonstration, these are far smaller than what you need.
Yes.
You know, but I'm just going to do it on a section. So you've got your feature fabric that actually is like the background when you're working on it.
Yes.
But that's the one that's going to show through your
Okay.
reverse applique. So I'm using the lovely Lovebirds Maureen Cracknell print, which is beautiful. That's a new one. That's Art Gallery, which is lovely to work with. And then what I've done is I've cut 2 pieces of the white cream fabric rather than one, because if I lay that over the top, you can see how you still can see that print.
Oh, right, because it's quite a bold print, isn't it?
Yes, and there's actually quite a bit of black in this one, even though it's not a dark print. There's still black, so you can just see it sneaking through.
So you're going to put 2 layers of antique
So I put 2
white.
layers on, so that when the print comes through, you're not seeing that in the background.
Yeah.
Okay, as opposed to you can see the difference there.
Hey.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just working with the 1 layer, obviously, because I don't need to be working with 2, and I'm going to transfer the design onto the fabric. So I'm not going to copy out the whole thing, but
Now
I'll just
you're
do a
using
section of
our
it.
favourite water erasable pen, and this does water erase. Can I please, though, just whatever pen you use, please do just check it first. A lovely lady on our fan page
didn't, and went in with on a cream quilt, marked up all of her quilting lines in blue, washed it, ironed it, couldn't get it out, and that's basically set. So I think she's having to add a sequin or something in a few lines. So please do make sure. Now, we've used this pen an awful lot, and we've never ever had a problem with it, but always just check.
No, and this one wipes. And also check, you may have checked it on one fabric and come to use it on another one and find it acts differently. So whichever fabric you're working with, you need to check that.
Because each fabric will have a different substrate, will have a different base fabric. So for example, Art Gallery fabric, which is the Lovebirds that we've got underneath here, their substrate, their base fabric is very fine. It's very soft. And so they say, you know, you can use it for quilting, but you can also use it for dressmaking. And that's why they make sure that they have such a soft base fabric. So that pen might react differently to that than to that one.
Absolutely.
End of sermon from me
about pens. You must check. Check each and every time. So we're going to pretend I've copied out the whole thing. Yes. Okay? We'll just pretend.
Yes.
So then you're going to layer it up. So you've got, I mean, if you were using a different, like maybe if you were using one of the other bundles, if it had a darker colour or something, you wouldn't need to layer it up perhaps, but just test.
It's also personal preference.
It is, because there's no reason you can't use one. You can. You just will have, you know, you might slightly see it coming through. So just check, it's up to you. You don't have to use 2 layers.
Okay.
But I am.
Okay.
And then make sure that if your fabric is directional, it's going the way you want it to be.
Oh, that would be awkward, wouldn't it?
That would be awkward.
Yeah.
So just check that that's in the direction that you want it. And then you need to pin everything into place, especially if you are using 2 layers on the top, because you don't want it shifting as you're sewing. And because you have to stop and pivot and turn a lot for these curves, it's really important that everything's held in place. So you can either use pins, or you could use, you know, the quilter's safety pins.
Yes.
Would be a good option. But I would, you know, start in the middle, as you would if you were basting a quilt, and just press everything out. Make sure those 3 layers are really nice and flat. And then I just pinned the whole
shebang.
The whole shebang, yeah. I didn't work a section at a time. I pinned absolutely everything into place and then started sewing. So I'm just going to overpin.
Well, always better to be safe than sorry.
Absolutely. And it's the same with quilting. This sort of preparation before you start sewing is the most important.
Director Tim says, I think that's the most amount of pins I've ever actually seen Lucy use.
I know, yeah, I never use pins.
She's always like, you might pin this at home, but me, no.
No,
going straight
I'm not going to bother. But yeah, with this, absolutely, because you don't want, you know, you want to make sure all 3 layers are flat. You don't want to end up with creases underneath, you know,
You'll get ripples, won't you, otherwise?
Yeah, you'll get ripples and it just look not very nice. So I might just do one more. Oh! Just to be extra. Okay, and then we're going to sew. So what we're doing is sewing on the lines.
Okay, like we've just done with the foundation paper piece, we sewed on the line.
Yeah, sewing on the lines. So with this machine, I'm going to swap the foot over, because even...
What have you got at the moment then?
This is just the normal foot.
Okay.
So even though this is clear, it does have metal bits either side, and I find it a little bit distracting, and I can't really see what I'm doing. So I'm going to take that off. So even though, there you can see there, it's just got the metal bits on either side that just ever so slightly block the view. But you have got clear bits there, so you can see. But this machine comes with this foot, which is an applique foot, which means that you've got a total gap there, so you can really, really clearly see that line that you're sewing on.
If I wanted to go crazy and just freestyle this, could I do this with my free motion embroidery foot?
Yes, you can. What I would be careful of with the free motion foot is if you know that you are consistent with your stitch length.
Oh no, I'm not.
Because you don't want bigger stitches, particularly as you're going around a corner, only because it's not going to be secure. So if you want to free motion quilt it, do by all means, but you might want to make your stitches smaller than you would ordinarily if you were quilting.
But I have to say, by the time you've done all of it, you'll be a whiz.
Yeah,
What a great...
So depending on which bit you're... No, I'm going to take that pin out. Which bit you're sewing, you'll probably want to start in different places.
Right.
So on the bird, for example, I just start sort of halfway down, but on the leaf or petal shapes, I start at the corner and sew round. And then the really nice thing about this is because nobody sees the back, if you have a locking stitch, you can use the locking stitch on your machine.
Oh, nice.
So you're not having to go backwards and forwards.
Okay. Excellent.
So I'm just going to do that, and I'm reducing my stitch length.
What do you reduce it to? What's your preference?
I'm putting it on 1.8.
Okay.
But each machine can be slightly different, so have a play about with it. But you definitely want a smaller stitch length so that it's going to hold.
Okay. Good job. Now, I mentioned some duck-billed... Hang on, I have to stop before I say the platypus bit. Duck-billed scissors. Get carried away, I'll just say the whole lot. Here they are. A few of you have been asking about this. I did sort of tease you with it earlier. So they're £12.99. Now, we'll show, presumably, are you going to use these?
Yes.
Yes, okay. But you've got really, really sharp one there, and then this will protect your fabric. So when you go in, you don't run the risk of cutting your under fabric. But Lucy will show us more on that later. It's just because you've asked, because I've teased, and I probably shouldn't have said anything about it, but I got overexcited. Because it's exciting, this show.
It is exciting.
Well, says Lucy, she's concentrating.
I'm really
like
concentrating.
mad.
So when I'm just turning the fabric, I put my hands in this position, so like an L and a backwards L, because that just helps me stabilise the fabric so I can easily just turn it like that.
Yeah, because normally your hands wouldn't be that involved with it. It would just gently feed the fabric through your machine. But here you do need that more. Yeah,
so just holding it like that just allows me enough grip without clenching to just turn the fabrics. But then obviously on the bottom section where there's more of a curve, I've stopped and pivoted as required. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to carry on. I'm going to do the flower.
Whilst you go through those, because you're sewing around, let me give you the details on the bundles so you can choose which ones you want. So at the moment we're using the Art Gallery fabric one with the lovebirds, which is really beautiful. Now in each of these kits, the breakdown is you get 1.5 meters of your plain and then 1 meter of that feature fabric, and that's £32.49. You also get the craft wadding and you also get your thread in there as well. So it's a big old bundle. Now Adita Sitar, I think a lot of you who bought hers from the last show want to keep on with that fabric, and so you've got it for this hour. So £26.49. Loads of you have got this in your baskets. Please do check out your baskets. Again, that is your full bundle there. 1.5 meters of your plain, 1 meter of your Adita fabric. Now let's have a look at the next one. This is your Tilda Botanical. So you've got that lovely rich red and that detailed blue flower detailing on there. £30.49, 2.5 meters in total. 1 meter of that is your Tilda, plus your wadding, plus your thread. Again, loads of you have got this in your baskets. Please do check out those baskets. It's just been a day. I feel like I'm on repeat, but that's just how it goes. Now, we will be on repeat later, won't we, on Sky. Now, let's have a look. This one is your Floral Splendor. So if this is in your basket, please check out again. £25.49. Again, you're getting 1 meter of your Floral Splendor, 1.5 meters of your plain, plus your wadding, plus your thread. Gosh. Next up is, this is the one that Lucy made hers from. This is your Plum Siegfried. Oh, we've lost all the details for that. Here we go. They're on their way. There you go. This is your Sigrid Plum. I always want to call it Siegfried. It's not, it's Sigrid. And you're getting 1 meter of your Sigrid, and then you're also getting 1.5 meters of your plain, and your wadding and your thread, and it's £30.49. And this is what Lucy made with it. How gorgeous is that? Just beautiful. Just stunning. Now that design is out of the book. Now, here we go, here's the book. This is brand new today. Absolutely love it. Over half of this already gone. So, and that's checked out and gone. Now, you see, if you want to make, I think this is one of my all-time favourite quilts in here. And it's got the pattern. And it even, I mean, you don't have to necessarily stick with her exact fabrics, but she does show you which fabrics and how much of each one you need, which just make it, I'm visual, I like that. And now, let's find this project. Ta-da! There it is. Stunning. What a lovely size. That's a big one, this one. Real big, cuddly cushion. Love it. And so all step by step, and it explains, you know, Lucy's just gone through, photocopy it, put your pieces together, and then, you know, trace it onto the other side. So you've got the full pattern, but it doesn't, you don't have to increase it or anything like that or take it to the printers, just, it makes it very, very easy. And then step by step, but you've also got a lot of the Tilda creatures in here, which I love. So Lucy is using the Lovebirds, and they are from Art Gallery Fabrics.
Yes.
So we've sewn. It's not that she's
so
terrified.
Now's the bit that terrifies
the
me
nail-biting moment.
on live television. So I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I have sewn around that one and the flower and also the circle.
Ah, yes.
And that's quite important. We're not actually cutting that out, but because we're cutting this section out, we're going to leave a little bit around there as well. So they become like dots.
Do you know, I did look at that on your, and I did wonder if you just cut them out and then sewed them back on. No, you sew them before you even get going.
So you're sewing around that circle.
That would be really fiddly to try and just sew something that tiddly tiny on.
It would. And then you want to pull apart the background fabric from the front. Now the nice thing about using 2 layers, although I realise you're using up more fabric, but the nice thing about it is you really can feel that separation.
Oh, okay.
Because you've got that 1 layer at the back and the 2 layers
Chunky,
at the top.
sturdy,
So in a way it kind of helps. And then you just cut it.
Ah, and that's the moment.
That goes right through me. So just make yourself a little cut there, so you can see the background peeking through. And then you do your best to not cut into it. So I like to keep my finger behind the section that I'm cutting.
Right. Yes.
So that if worst case scenario, I might feel it before I cut it. Now there are areas in this where it's a little tricky and you can just use the other side, you know, if you need to snip into it.
Scissors.
Yeah, really, really versatile, just to make that gap a bit bigger so I can slot that in.
But the idea with the duckbill scissors details on your screen are that you're not going, it saves you from worrying about cutting in to the under fabric.
Because you can do it at a slightly different angle, so you can rest this flat section on the back fabric so that you're not going to cut into it, she says.
I was watching a show the other day, it's on BBC One, called Stitch in Time. Have you seen any of those? They recreate beautiful dresses and clothing from historical paintings or historical figures. And they were using some of these, and it was just really interesting to go, you know, these are tools that are so useful anytime that you want to protect that fabric underneath.
Yes.
There we go.
So I'm just moving it around and trimming that out of the way. And again.
Oh, and oh. I'm loving this. You are looking absolutely terrified. Nice, relaxing hobby.
Absolutely terrifying. Especially as you get to the end, actually, because then you think, well, I've done all that work. If I ruined it now, it would be even worse. Okay,
so let's go worst case, Lucy, because the likelihood is that I would snip my behind fabric at some point if I'm doing this amount. So I'm guessing that worst case is if you do accidentally snip through, get yourself some fusible interfacing and just stick it back together.
Exactly. That's all I could think about was what will I do? And that's exactly what I would do.
For me, when I work out a worst case scenario, as long as I've got an answer for that, I'm fine.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Yeah. It can all be repaired.
Of course it can. Adds to the design.
Yeah. You do want to be careful as you're working around to keep this back bit flat, because I'm just trimming now around that circle and I don't want to accidentally, you know, you still can cut into it. So it's just being mindful as you're going around that back fabric is nice and flat, so you're not going to cut into that. So, and I'm doing this quite rushed and not at all neatly, but you'll get the idea.
And you're okay to hold this? You don't have to have it flat on a surface or anything?
I find it more difficult to keep it flat on a surface, but whatever you feel, you know, whichever way you feel more comfortable doing it is absolutely fine. And then you can just see that starts to peek through.
Yeah, nice. Now, of course, you won't keep these lines because they'll be wiped away.
No, yes, exactly. I nearly...
Both mums together.
Do that. Yeah, never. But that would...
You've just got a bit...
that would come off really easily. Now, with this seam allowance, because I've got the 2 layers, sometimes you get that second one peeking through, so I might just go back and trim it.
Okay.
But no, but you're right, because it's going to fray slightly anyway over time, it doesn't really matter, it just adds to the whole
texture.
Look.
Right.
The one thing you want to be mindful of, and everybody's will be slightly different, is just trying to keep it even. You know,
okay.
so on
like
all of them, you don't want some with like a little
allowance.
bit, yes.
Right.
So just whatever comes naturally to you,
stick with it.
Stick with it, and don't go too close to the stitches.
Oh, big no-no.
No, just leave yourself a seam allowance.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you just carry on and cut them all out.
You know, a couple more times.
Just a couple more times. And that's
I can
what
see
you
why
end
we're not
up
doing
with.
the whole thing.
Yeah, we're
this
not
hour.
going to do the whole thing. But it isn't repetitive. It isn't a project that I was like, oh, when am I getting to the end of it? Because it's actually really enjoyable. And I think because you're concentrating on it, you're focused on it.
Yes.
So although it was mildly terrifying.
Yeah, but that's because
still
you
relaxing.
had to bring this on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the other thing, isn't it? You don't just get to have something and then put it beautifully on your sofa, and if there's a little nick, no one's going to notice. You've got the sewing community are all eyes on you. So slightly more terrifying for you. But this is the one, and I just think it's really beautiful. Now, this is with the Sigrid plum. And it just is that look, isn't it? It's that Tilda look.
Yeah.
She's so clever, and you can have that look in your home. And this is the thing, you know, when I look through her books, and I see a lot of it is photographed, like I say, in her home, and I do get home envy. I'm going to put my hand up to that. I think, oh, yeah, you know, I wish my home could look like that. Well, it can. Producer Paul says you need to start checking your baskets, but he's been saying that all day, with good reason, because, you know, everything's been selling out. So, you know, not just because he feels like it.
And the nice thing is, as well, I was thinking, because you've got the template then for this pattern, so you can use this in other things. You don't have to use this for reverse applique.
Oh, nice.
You can use it for regular applique. I really love the Mary Quant style flowers.
I was thinking, you know, you could do around the bottom of a little girl's dress.
Oh, very pretty.
You could reverse applique some of those, hang on, there we go, some of those little flowers.
Very pretty.
Just, you know, if you had the time and the love.
And even just the details, like that the leaves decrease in size as they go to the end. You know, it's really, really nice. And it's a lovely one to work on, and you start to notice all those details.
Erica in Staffordshire says, bought some of the duck-billed scissors. They are easy to use and so sharp, saves lots of mistakes, well worth buying. Do you know what amazes me with those duck-billed scissors? $12.99, it's the price. And they are super, super sharp.
They are really sharp.
Yeah.
Which makes that would be not an easy job at all if you didn't have sharp scissors. Much better.
Look, yeah, I mean, you can see there how sharp that is. And
you can just cut things out with them. I mean, you
generally
won't, but you can just use them as scissors. You don't only have to use them.
You see, now if you did, because you said, you know, keep it flat. So if for some people, keeping it on a flat surface might be easier. And look, they're raised. This is another detail. Look, they're raised like that. It always reminds me, it's like going into an operating theatre.
Yes.
Duck-billed scissors.
So I think because I don't know why I don't do it flat. I just don't.
But that's your style. It doesn't matter.
Just
There's no right or wrong way, is there?
No.
Now the book, because this is where this has all come from. Oh, I'm going over there. See you in a minute.
Oh, okay.
Apparently. Off for a wander. He's keeping my steps up today, is producer Paul. Now, here we go. This is the book. Now, over half stock gone. $16.99. Please check out your baskets for this. So this is Sewing by Heart. And what I love about this, it's not just a book of quilts. It's also, it's a book of homeware and of toys and of all things beautiful through the seasons as well. So you see, you've got sort of an autumnal fox and gourd there. ready to go. So whether you are like me and a bit of a Tilda fabric addict, then this is just heaven. The photography is exquisite. The ideas just absolutely lovely. And the patterns and the templates for it full size. Yes, yes, yes. Look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous? So work your way through, take a look, take the inspiration, see what it is. I mean, look at that. And you get the pattern to do that with the dragonflies and the flowers. Just beautiful. All the detailed instructions there as to how to do that. Really gorgeous. It's just inspirational. And look at the bees. Love those. And you know, that might be, you might want to have that as a pincushion or anything really. But it's entirely up to you. So go through your stash, see what you found, see what you love. There's the tree that we're making today with Lucy. She's shown us how to do that. Maybe match it with an elephant. Why not? So again, you've got your toys in there as well. There are your quilts. Now, all sorts of different inspiration. But like I say, you do also have, if you've never had a go at making some of the Tilda toys, give it a go, because they are really lovely to work with and play with. And actually, you know, very, very achievable. Lots of you with this in your basket. Like I said, you know, oh, there's your foxes. It's a good excuse to use up your Tilda fabrics that you're not quite sure what to do with. Here we go. Things like this, ideas like this. So this is, you've got your gourd quilt, your pumpkin quilt there, and then you could do a matching door stopper. It's just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So it's a thoroughly, charmingly lovely book. And you've even got winter projects in there as well. So it takes you through the seasons. There's Father Christmas and your stockings, and there are all your templates. That is $16.99. So many of you got that in your basket. You know how quickly our books have sold today. You love a book. Then please do check out your baskets. Make sure you don't miss out. Don't miss out. Now, oh, hello. We've got some other things on the desk. Where to start? Let's do the kits for the cushion that we've just seen. So if you'd like to stick with your Tilda, then here we've got the botanical range. So you get 1 metre of your botanical and 1.5 metres of your plain wadding and thread there for £30.49. QQGC38. Now, if you'd like to go with the floral splendour, maybe your house is a little bit more modern looking, maybe you love your Dashwood fabrics, then here it is. And that's £25.49. You get your wadding, don't forget, as well. I just don't have enough hands to put in the wadding as well. So £25.49, NUGC99. And then if you'd like the lovebirds that we've just been playing with, and that's from Art Gallery Fabrics, then here they are. So you get 1 metre of your feature fabric and 1.5 metres of your background. Now, the last one to show you is the Adidas Sitar fabrics. This is going to sell out very, very soon. So if you're after that one, please check out your basket. It's such an exquisite fabric. You're going to absolutely love it. It's like having an oil painting that you're just going to see little snips revealing themselves. £26.49 for that, NUGC88. Now, we're running incredibly low on the next one that I'm going to show you, which is the one that Lucy made her cushion from, which is the Sigrid Plum. And again, this is a Tilda fabric with that plum. She doesn't always have plum in all of her collections, so it's lovely to see it in this one. And this was the Ditzy fabric from that collection, so that's £30.49. Beautiful. That's what it makes. Well, as long as you cut it. So Lucy's shown us, as part of our applique masterclass, we've gone with the reverse applique, which you don't often see. But then what about your standard applique, as I like to think of it? You know, the applique that we all think of when we think of applique. Now, what we've got for you today is for all those ballet mad amongst you. Maybe you've got a granddaughter that's just started ballet lessons. Then how about this? This here is not the finished size, by the way. The finished size is much bigger, but it just tells you which parts go where. It's like your map of which parts go where. But you can see that that's the shoe, which is much bigger than there. So it's going to be a large appliqued piece. Now, whether this goes on a ballet shoe bag or whatever, it's going to be really beautiful. So what we've got is the 2 different coloured fabrics for you for the shoes, 1/2 metre of each. And then we've also given you your Bonder web And you've also got a skein of embroidery thread as well, so that you can get appliquing. Now, we've got brand new for you today as well. We've got the robots. And here he is. So he's brand new today. And all those little pieces that go together to make his good robot-y self. It's a good excuse to whip out a bit of felt, isn't it, for that? But what we've given you in the bundle are the base colours. So you've got the blue and the grey in this bundle. So 1/2 metre of each. And then, like I say, have a look around your scraps, maybe some felt or something like that to really bring this to life. You've also got your Bondi web and you've got your skein. These are the fabrics. We've never shown him on air before. Robots have always been very popular, especially since Joe Carter made a robot kit. But that's $14.99. And then our last applique kit is over here. Hang on a minute, you're getting a whole load of, well, it's basically a template bundle for you. So, keeping in the theme of love, you've got your hearts. Hearts are one of those things that everyone thinks, oh, it's all right, I can draw a heart. Yeah, I've actually tried it, it's quite tricky. So actually a nice big plump heart, that's what we like. So you've got that, and all of those different sizes there. I like filling those with lavender and popping them in the airing cupboard. Now this, let me open this up. Here we go. Lucy Brennan's Flower Basket Applique. There we go. So you've got your flower basket and then your different component parts of your flower basket. And then we've also got, the home, sweet home, the home. We've got this, we did this on a cushion. And it's not just, I've got to open this up because that's not the only one that you're getting in there. You've got, oh, this was the whole bundle in there. So you're getting in there, because behind it is the actual cushion piece that we did. Of course, it doesn't want to come out the packet now, does it? But, oh, there we go. Here we are, let me show you. Do you remember that from one of the shows? There you go. And I'll show, oh, I've got the thing, I'll show you in a moment. And then we've also got, and this is really handy, I was thinking about this the other day when I was making Freddie a cushion. I was like, actually, I'd really like to put an F on there. But there you go, you've got all of your alphabet there, $19.99. Now, Lucy's going to show us how to use all of these. Well, some of these. Now, your home sweet home, there you go, just because I just did say we've got that. That was from one of our shows where we did that. There you go. Home sweet home. There you go. Right. Now, you are ballet shoeing us up.
I am. Well, I'm bowing. I'm just doing a bow.
Okay. So this is from the ballet shoes.
Yeah, I'm going to just fuse this.
Oh,
so all
okay.
I've done is I've just traced this onto Bondi web.
Yes.
That's what I was looking for. So I've just traced it out onto Bondi web, and I'm just doing my own interpretation of it, but I think that's fine. And just cut out the pieces, use the 2 different pinks, which are very pretty, and then just fuse the Bondi web onto the back of the fabric and cut the shapes out. And then I've just arranged them. I'm just going to
Now, this is an idea. This just gives you an idea. You're not getting the bag fabric, but this just gives you an idea of what a beautiful ballet bag you could make. So that's the finished size of it. Gorgeous. So that's the kit. So the colours you get are the shoe colours. Beautiful.
Yeah. And so you can have the shoes. And what I've done is I've thought about the different types of applique and what sort of projects I would use them for. So for this, I'm going to do raw edge with the free motion foot. So I'm just changing the foot over because...
She's got a plan, I like this.
Well, when I was younger, my cousin was a ballet dancer. She used to... I remember when she first got her points. And
like proper ballet.
Proper
you know,
ballet.
Up on your
yeah,
toes.
She worked really hard, and she would always hang her ballet shoes up. You know, she just had a little hook, and she would hang them up in her room, and I would always stare at them and admire them. And I was useless at ballet, so didn't really do it.
Me too, yeah.
But they're just so pretty. But I like that idea of them being used. You know, not a perfect pair of shoes. And you've got all that ribbon and all that movement that comes with dancing. So a raw edge applique is actually really nice because over time you get that bit of fraying and it would just add to that. So for me, this is like a memory of my cousin.
Oh, how lovely.
Yeah, so...
You know, my mum still has my first pair of ballet shoes.
Oh,
She's kept them. She's kept them in her memory box. I was not a natural, it's fair to say.
I have tap shoes. I like tap. I'm more of a...
I love tap.
I think I'm more of a stomper, you know?
Me too.
That's me.
I tried an adult tap class a few years ago.
So
Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I keep meaning to go. It's just not happening.
Oh,
one day.
We'll find
My
one.
best friend bought me tap shoes. I do have them. So I've just pulled up the bobbin thread so that it doesn't get tangled underneath. Although, to be honest, if it's something like this that's going to be used in a project, you're not going to see the back. I wouldn't worry too much about it. That's just habit from quilting. So then I'm going to start in the same place. And I'm just going to go for it. So
Do you drop your feed dogs?
No.
Oh, okay.
That also is habit from my old machine, because my old machine preferred it without. And I was actually teaching a machine quilting class the other day, and I had a lady with a similar machine, and her machine preferred it with them up. So it's always worth just experimenting. You're not going to damage it, you're not going to hurt it by having them up. That's what they're intended for anyway. But some wouldn't like it. So just read your instruction manual and then do
whatever you feel
whatever you feel like.
Generally what happens, find the instruction manual, read a bit, just give it a go.
Yeah. So similarly to how I was explaining about the reverse applique, I would leave, you know, you can sort of be top stitching this.
Yes.
Does that make sense? So leaving yourself a bit of a seam allowance around the outside, and so long as it's the same, it's fine. Now you can stop and start and do different sections, or you can just go.
Keep going.
Just keep going. So I'm just going to keep going to do the whole lot. So I might come back on myself and follow the same line. I think because there's so much, you know, because there would be texture in the ribbon and in the bow, it doesn't really matter if you sort of make a mistake. It's, you know, it's going to look fine.
With freestyle applique like this, what I've seen a lot of people do is just sometimes go around kind of 3 times.
Yes.
And that power of 3 seems to be a great way of making it look like you don't have to be super, super accurate, and that's okay.
Not at all. And what you can do as well is you can add in. Okay, so I can add to this. It's a plain fabric.
Yes.
So like a bow might have some ruching on it, you know, so I can just come out and just add in.
Oh, nice. What a lovely idea, yes.
Little bits of, not done very neatly, but
beautiful. Now,
just
once you've finished off that, talking of adding in, we've added some more fabric in. Because everything's selling so quickly, and because you might want fabrics to applique things onto, or you might want to do a ballet bag, you know, and then have, well, you need the fabric to make the ballet bag with. So this is your Easter pastels, 1/2 metre each, so 2.5 metre in total. Because that's just it, I've noticed on our fan page that so many of you already making for Easter, already making for grandchildren for Easter. So what a lovely gift that would be. See, my mum and dad always buy my little niece ballet lessons for birthday and Christmas.
oh yeah, that's
So, you know, beautiful. So a ballet bag to go with, perfect. And then the other one that we've got, again, 2.5 metres. Ah, this is our bright spots. Fabulous. And here they all again, 1/2 metre of each, so 2.5 metres in full there. 24.49. Beautiful. Now, just sneak in there is freezer paper. We haven't got onto the freezer paper bit yet, but we will be using it shortly. So I'll give you a little heads up that we do have some freezer paper, because you can use that in applique, can't you?
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to show you how in a minute. So this is your Reynolds Kitchen freezer paper, and it gives you like the original purpose for it as well. But then also in there, it does talk you through how to use it for all your crafty needs.
Yes.
Yes. Right, Lucy, we've got 6 minutes.
Sorry. Okay, I know. So I'm really conscious that I'm going to run out of time. So I'm going to talk you through what I would do. Okay. So next thing I prepared was the robot. And the robot I just did in the same way that I did the bow. So I traced it onto Bondo web, and then I've adhered the sections of the robot to the background fabric.
Yes.
So this is all different sections. What's really lovely about this pattern is you've got the whole thing. So you have a body, you have the face, all the different elements of the face. So you can use it in whatever way. Do you see what I mean? So it's like building your own robot, really.
Yes.
And you can add in other elements, or you can leave out certain elements. Okay. It's entirely up to you.
Build a bot.
Yeah, so I was going to show you how I do the eyes, because circles are very often, something that's kind of tricky, or people don't love doing circles. So I'm going to talk you through it. I may not get to stitching because I want to get to the freezer paper, but just ever so quickly, this is how I do circles when I'm doing them.
And we've used this technique when we've done scalloped quilts as well. So this is a tried and tested, excellent technique.
Yes. So I've just roughly cut that bit out so I can show you what I'm doing. So I've cut, I'll turn it around. I've cut this out of just a box, any cardboard box, but not too thick. So just something like packaging. Yeah. Food packaging. Box. Great way to recycle. Is perfect. Yes, great for recycling. Perfect for all kinds of templates. And then I'm going to roughly cut round, but I'm going to leave a bigger seam allowance than I would do if I was doing like a needle turn applique. Okay? Okay. Why? Why do I leave a bigger one? Well, I would thread based. That's why. Okay. So it just gives you a little more room to work with. If you leave your seam allowance too small, it just becomes more fiddly. It's easier to leave it bigger, do it, and then cut it back if you want to. Okay. So I would do that, and then I would thread based all the way around and pull. Pull it tight. Yeah, okay. And pull it really tight going round. So we're just imagining that that's what I've done. And then I've got some foil. This is going to make a horrible noise. I apologise. Now, the foil that I had at home happens to have a little pattern on it. Not the best idea. If you can get just a black, normal foil. I don't know why this pattern, but it has got hexagons, which I thought was quite amusing. Yeah. And then you're going to wrap it up. So this would be... I love that even your tin foil is a quilter's friend. Quilting related. So this would be basted like that, okay? Yeah. Now, some people don't, but I do, because I like to have that extra security of it already being basted. But you can do it this way and just scrunch it round. And then we're just going to scrunch the foil over the top. And what's important at this point, and hope that fabric's all pressed, is that you get the edges nice and neat. Oh, okay. So you folded it around the circle, and then you want to run your finger, because if you've got any... creases that are going to leave a point, that's going to translate to your circle. You're going to end up with nice and smooth. So run my thumb over that. You can tear off that extra bit if you want to, or just leave it. And then just give it a press. And then once Hang on, how do I press that from the top? Oh, just like that? Yeah, just like that. Or you can just do the edges. Okay, all right, I'll do that from the back, so just go around. And then we'll have a grand reveal of that, because I'm very aware I've only got about 3 minutes left. Okay, so I'm going to talk you through freezer paper really quickly, okay? So... freezer paper comes on a massive roll. So sorry. Comes on a huge... No, it does, absolutely. A huge thing, because it's like baking paper, but it's not the same. No, this is... You'd wrap your meats in this and put them in the freezer, so it is to go in the freezer. So one side is paper, like you'd expect, and then the other side is shiny, waxy, coated. So you can you see the shine there? Yes. So it's like a waxy coating, but it's not the same as baking paper. I want to make that clear, because I've tried it, it does not work. Because you thought you could get away with it, and turns out no. So I would really be using like a pencil. I'm really pleased that we're doing this, because I did buy myself some freezer paper and haven't actually used it, because I was waiting for someone to show me. Yeah, well, there's two different ways. Okay. Okay. So I've drawn the shape, and then I cut it out on the line. Okay, so no need to leave a seam allowance. And then there's two ways you can use freezer paper. Oh, Jesus, yes. One is on the back of the fabric. Right. Okay, so you position it on the back of the fabric with the paper side down and the shiny side up. Right. And then you cut your fabric around it, leaving a seam allowance, and then you can fold your seam allowance back and iron it in place. The other way of doing it, I'll show you if we've got time. Okay. The other way of doing it is to iron it on the top. Well, I'm just going to cut a little bit out, right? So I can show you what I'm talking about. So let's just iron this on, just to show how it sticks. So I would cut out a piece that I needed larger. So that shiny side is going to stick. With a seam allowance, yeah. So then let's make it like a square, okay? So if I wanted to iron it, if I did it that way and fold that seam back, do you want to just iron that? Then the seam allowance is stuck to the fabric.
So you can use that for
any type of applique.
Yeah.
Any type of applique. Cool. So you need to take the paper out, obviously, before you do it, but you can fold all your edges around the paper because that's the shiny side, so that's going to stick.
But that's not going to be a permanent adhesion, is it?
No, and then you have to take the paper out. You can't leave the paper in, but you can do that, and so then on that side, you're going to have whatever shape it is.
Because I saw one of our designers use this for their English paper piecing, and they laid out exactly what they wanted where, and then just pressed it on, which was, pressed it on. Don't actually put it on the iron.
Yeah, you can do that. Then the other way is to use it shiny side down on the right side of the fabric.
Okay, we are out of time.
Okay, if you do it on the right side of the fabric, and then you can needle turn it underneath. And maybe I'll come back and demo that another day.
I think that's a whole other show, isn't it?
It probably is.
There's so much. So 2 ways to use this. You've given us a hint, and I like this. And look at this, brilliant. Thank you.
Thank
you. Thank you so much. Always lovely to have you on the show. Right, the book. Oh, I can't believe we're nearly out of time. We're nearly out of book as well. So this has been such a popular book this hour. If you're watching on repeat, do give us a call, see if we've got any in stock. But stocks are running very low. $16.99. YOMZ 68. When I say low, I mean 5. Just to give you an idea. So if you want Sewing by Heart by Tuna Fenenga, then please do grab that now. Check out your baskets. That's the way to absolutely secure it. Right. Let's have a look at the Lovebird applique. So this is the one that Lucy demonstrated with this hour. This is your art gallery fabrics. You're getting 1 metre of your feature fabric and 1.5 meters of your background fabric, so that you can do the back of your cushion with the background fabric. Then you also get wadding. Don't forget your wadding, and you also get your thread in there as well. I haven't got room on my table for wadding as well, but you will get it. Okay. Now next one is, if we're sticking with Tilda, because Tilda book, Tilda applique, then why not go with your Tilda botanical? So 1 metre of your Tilda botanical, 1.5 meters of your plain, plus your wadding, plus your thread, coming in at £30.49. QQGC38 is your code there. Now, if you've got more of a pastel tone that you'd like, then go with your Floral Splendor. And again, 1 metre of that and 1.5 meters of your plain, plus you've also got your wadding and your thread, all in that bundle for $25.49. Wonderful. Now, the cushion that we made was out of the book. So that's the cushion. So once you've got these bundles and you need to make the cushion, then you're going to need the book. So please make sure that you've got that. The actual fabric that's in that cushion is the Seagreen Plum. And again, 1 metre of the seaweed, and then 1.5 meters of your plain wadding and thread for £30.49. Now, gosh, what a busy show. Right, we've already given you a hint about tomorrow, what's coming up tomorrow. But tomorrow we have got, wow, 50 Tulip Pink items on a show. Should we see what else we've got? Let's take a look. So, 8 a.m, Creative Grids Masterclass. Lucy is back. Yes, yes, yes. 9 a.m, we've got Tulip Pink's All Stars. Yeah, I've got 50 items on that show. That's going to be mega. Then at 10 a.m, we've got a Quilter Rainbow, again with lovely Lucy. She's going to be back quilting her little heart out. And then 11 a.m, we've got our versatile vintage fabric. Yes, yes, yes. Now, if you are buying today for the very first time, firstly, thank you. And secondly, if you're spending over £20, you will get, if you use this code SQLove, you will get an extra fat quarter set in there for free. So that's 8 fat quarters, plus you will also get your self-healing cutting mat. Fabulous. Have a lovely rest of the day. Don't forget to join us bright and early tomorrow morning. We've had so many sellouts. That's the way to do it, is to join us when you see us. So see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Spread the love this Valentine's Day with our special offer for new Sewing Quarter customers. Shop with us for the first time, and if you spend more than £20, you'll receive 2 amazing free gifts. Every new customer gets a free Sewing Quarter A4 self-healing cutting mat, but for our Valentine's offer, we're also giving away a stunning pack of fat quarters when you use the code SQ Love. Combined, this freebie is worth over £26. In gorgeous red, pink and neutral shades, the So Easy Rose 8-piece fat quarter bundle is perfect for quilting and sewing projects in 100% cotton. Don't miss out. This offer runs for 24 hours only, from 8 AM on Wednesday the 14th of February to 8 AM on Thursday the 15th of February when you use code SQLOVE.